They have deferred, however, and that means they will kick off to the Steelers. Emmanuel Sanders will be back to receive this punt, or this kickoff here, by Todd Carter, number 5. He's got a strong leg out of Flint, Michigan. He played soccer there, and they liked him a lot. He has a knack to get this guy football in the end zone a lot. He's done it so far all preseason. No returns when he's kicking off. And Emmanuel Sanders hopes he gets an opportunity here as we start the game, but it's deep in the end zone, and Carter, who may get a roster spot by virtue of the strength of that leg, kicks it into the end zone.
Well, if you're going to kick it 9 yards deep, then I think he does deserve a roster spot. That's a very strong-legged kick from a strong young man there.
All right, Ben Roethlisberger and company are going to take the field, and we expect a lot of no huddle. Ben Roethlisberger says that's one thing he wants to work on, that he hasn't had a chance last season. 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 4,000 yards. You know how good he was, and he's looking forward to returning after his suspension. And tomorrow he will go to New York along with Art Rooney II, and they will find out. We've understood there are reports out there that indicate he's going to make a plea to try to get it down to 3 games. But based on what we saw at training camp, Edmund, I would think that it's going to remain at 4. But we'll see.
Roger Goodell does not seem like the type to go back on his initial lower suspension, if you will, aside from the 6.
Roethlisberger is going to be dragged down on the first play. Can't get away from the pressure up front, and that's one thing that Carolina has done extremely well in this preseason. Nick Harris is over there. They have 18 sacks coming into this game, and add another one right there.
Well, this may not be a sack, Bob, as he gained about a half a yard, but Ben Roethlisberger under duress early on this game, and that's what you're going to expect from this Carolina front line, minus Julius Peppers, who's at Chicago this year.
Yeah, they've lost a lot. It's a very young defensive line. They lost Julius Peppers. They also lost 2 of their starters on the interior. They've replaced them with a lot of third-round picks or higher picks. And there's a handoff up the middle for short yardage there. But let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting lineups here before we go any further, and we'll check out the Steelers. Mendenhall, Summers, Miller, Wallace, and Ward. And then up front you got Max Starks, Chris Kimoatu, Marquise Pouncey, Trey Essex, and Flozell Adams. And Pouncey, if he ends up being the starter, and you would think he would be, Edmund, he'd be the first rookie to start on the offensive line since Marvell Smith started at right tackle. He eventually moved to left back in 2000. So that's pretty impressive stuff.
And well-deserved for the first rounder out of Florida. And there he goes with a bad snap. Ben handles it.
But he doesn't have much to go, although he's still trying to get away, and that's a dangerous thing. Trying to flick it out to Mendenhall, but they rule it dead. And Roethlisberger almost escaped that. But again, a bad snap, and it leads to a 3 and out.
Well, you're going to see there a little bit of a high snap there. Ben does an excellent job of handling it. And then it's just a jailbreak. Nobody blocks anybody, thinking it was going to be a fumble. Ben, the big, strong guy that he is, hangs on to the football and even gets it out for a completion. But again, he's called in the grasp. So there you have the first sack of the game. Coach Tomlin is kind of questioning this guy, saying, all right, what happened there, guys?
All right, Dan Sepulveda to punt the football away after the 3 and out. Brian Witherspoon back to return it. Takes it about his own 24-yard line, gets to the outside, and no more. Special teams play there. You see Lawrence Timmons was down there, as well as Anthony Madison, who remains down. Madison hurt, and he's in a battle for a roster spot. Very good special teams player, and a guy that I know they love and brought here specifically to improve that department.
That is the guy that they needed on special teams a couple of years ago. Here he is in the chase. Takes a little bit of a blow to the head there. See Anthony Madison right here. Coming in there, takes a shot from the Carolina Panther right upside his head. Dinged a little bit, but he comes off under his own power, but he's got a little bit of a headache. You can see him walking just a little bit wobbly. Hope to see him back in the game.
Well, John Fox, as he typically does on final preseason games, will not go with his starters. Instead, we see Hunter Cantwell, second-year player out of Louisville, who is the starting quarterback here tonight. We expect to see Jimmy Clausen and Tony Pike as well. This is a handoff to Mike Goodson. Mike Goodson keeps on moving, and he gets first down yardage and more before Kieran Fox knocks him down. And Goodson, a 4th-round pick last year, has the only touchdown of this preseason for Carolina after a 16-yard game. That was a kickoff return.
And the Pittsburgh starters are going to get about a quarter of work today, Bob, and they cannot allow this to happen. Up on the defensive front, all these guys missing tackles, just throwing arms in there. The one thing you know about the Carolina backfield is you have to form tackle those guys or they will break them, and that's from the 1 all the way down to the 3 and 4 guy.
Brandon LaFell and Dwayne Jarrett line up to the outside. There's Mike Goodson. Of course, they have D'Angelo Williams And look at that screen. It goes to Goodson. And he avoids a couple of tacklers, spins around, and finally Will Gay knocks him down. But, you know, they have D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, but Mike Goodson's a pretty good player, and he continues to get good yardage there. A gain of 10.
Taking advantage of the Steelers' aggressiveness. You see Timmons coming in there free and almost gets him, but he gets the ball off. And then the cutback, somebody's got to make up their mind that they want to make a tackle. I know that Coach LeBeau is not happy with the way his defense is starting this game. Get your hands on him right there. Couple of guys, 3 guys right there, including Big Snack, had an opportunity to make a play on him.
They mark it as a 9-yard game, sets up 2nd and 1. Big Tony Fiametta, 42, the lead blocker. It's a handoff to Goodson, not this time. Ike Taylor along with Lawrence Timmons, who has really had an active training camp. I think LT has been as good as it gets for a loss of 2 yards, setting up 3rd and 3.
Good corner support there by Ike Taylor, coming up, making sure that the corner is very short. Watch him coming off. Great support there, forcing the back to cut inside. The penetration up the middle. That's more like it. That's more like it.
Carolina's offense so far through 3 preseason games ranks last in the NFL in passer rating, passing yards, pass completions. They have yet to score an offensive touchdown, and that is of some concern down in Carolina, where this team is expected by some to compete for a division championship. 3rd and 2 now. Dante Rosario, 88 in motion.
Allowed 11 sacks in the first 2 preseason games, Bob.
Cantwell delivers high, but caught by Rosario over Troy Polamalu. And Dante Rosario out of Oregon, the 5th round pick in 07, picks up first down yardage.
Dante Rosario one-on-one with the all-pro and the long hair, Troy Polamalu. He's right there to make a play, and yet just gets out-jumped and outplayed on that ball. Troy had great position. If that ball is out of position, Troy Polamalu has it and is probably going the other way for 6. But Dante making a great play. That's a good pass. Throw it high and keep it out of Troy's way.
All right, another first down for the Hunter Cantwell-led offense here. Dwayne Jarrett in motion, and it's another handoff. Again, it's Lawrence Timmons, who is in mid-season form, fights off Fiametta, and he gets the tackle. Now it's time for the Chevrolet lineup defensively for Carolina. Or offensively, I should say, for the Carolina Panthers. D'Angelo, well, this is what it was supposed to look like before John Fox said they're not going to play. Jeff King, Steve Smith, he's been injured, he's back. Up front, Jordan Gross, one of the best in the game. Jeff Ota out of Pitt at right tackle. He's also battled some injuries. Those guys are not in there, however. They, at the last second, said they're not going to play those starters. So, but that's a pretty good offensive line led by Jordan Gross, who's been a man of steel at that left tackle position.
Steve Smith injured in a touch football game? Unbelievable.
Pass over the middle is complete this time. Short yardage, however, and it goes to 82, Gary Barnage, one of their 3rd-string tight ends. Now it's time for the Chevrolet starting lineup, Steeler defense, and you do see the 3-4 in effect here. Smith, Hampton, and Kiesel up front. The linebackers, Woodley, Fox, Foote, and Timmons, as James Ferrier suffered 6 stitches last week, will not play tonight. Ike Taylor, Ryan Clark, Polamalu, and Gay gets the start ahead of Keenan Lewis, who got the start last week, played badly. Brian McFadden remains injured. All right, a big 3rd down. Steeler fans come to life. Want to see the defense get them off the field. Got a little Wildcat formation in there with Armonte Edwards, who played for Appalachian State, and he was a 3rd-round pick this year. He did this a lot, although the Steeler defense is going to snuff it out. His speed won't get him first down yardage there. That kid is the first player in NCAA Division I history to throw for over 10,000 yards and rush for over 4,000, and that's why they drafted him.
Patrick Bailey, playing on the Panthers side of the line of scrimmage, had great penetration, causing him to stretch that all the way out. They're going to watch this. This is just everybody, student body right now. Look at that. That's how you play football, folks. Play on their side of the line of scrimmage, force that back out wide, 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 and the time he gets to turn the corner, he doesn't have enough room to get to the first down. That's how you play that position, and that position is played by a guy whose future probably is not secure on this team, but is certainly making his bid to make this club.
John Casey attempting a 51-yard field goal. The kick is up. The kick is no good. It hits the uprights and falls short. John Casey in his 20th season. He's been very reliable out of Georgia. This one comes out a little short from 51 yards away, and the Steelers escape with no points.
How many seasons?
20, just like Brett Favre.
My
he and Brett Favre,
goodness.
the most tenured guys in the league.
Wow.
Got a good leg for 20 years in the game.
He's old, man.
Like that, we'll be right back. Scoreless game. John Casey, if this had been a 50-yarder, Carolina would have a 3-point lead, but it was 51.
Well, that leg is 20 years old, so there's no way he's going to kick a 50-something yarder, but pretty close for the old fella and very accurate.
All right, Steelers get their second opportunity after 3 and out for Ben Roethlisberger. who will be in New York tomorrow meeting with Roger Goodell alongside Art Rooney II. And we'll see what happens out of that. Again, we're suspecting 4 games. Ben has hired a quarterback coach to help him. Oh, nice play right up the middle there by Jamar Williams out of Arizona State, who really hit Rashard Mendenhall hard right there. All right, now let's take a look at the Carolina starting defense. And we got Charles Johnson, Ed Johnson, Lewis Leonard, Tyler Brayton up front, Anderson, Dan Connor out of Penn State, and John Beeson. Remember, Thomas Davis out for the year. Chris Gamble along with Martin Gottfried and Richard Marshall in that secondary. 2nd and 12, 2-yard loss for Mendenhall. The good hit by Williams. Roethlisberger veering right, looking downfield, fires, and almost has Mendenhall in and out of the hands. It was right there, and he dropped it, so it'll go as a 3rd down situation, 3rd and 12.
That almost was a Ben special. That was great. Started with great protection with the offensive line, and then Ben scrambles. Watch him. See him waving? See him wave? Rashard down. Now, the only problem with that play, Bob, is Rashard has stepped out of bounds. As you see, the little hat goes out right there, but Ben Roethlisberger waved him to go downfield. He turns to go downfield, steps out of bounds, so it would not have been a completion anyway. But Ben trying to make a big play early in this game with his running back, Rashard Mendenhall.
Steelers looking to fortify that offensive line now. Last week, Trey Essex, not the kind of performance you wanted to see out of your right guard. Flozell Adams continues to have pre-snap penalty problems, although it was interesting talking to him. I didn't know this. He has a hearing impairment in his right ear, which helps him being a right tackle because his left ear is good. But last year in Dallas, if you have a right hearing impairment, you don't hear the play call too much. So I didn't realize
why he's not there.
Maybe so. Who knows? We'll be right back. We're back. The Steelers have challenged the spot on the field after that timeout call by Carolina. What do you think, Edmund?
Here's a look. We're going to take a look at it right here. Ben does a very veteran thing, looks off the coverage and watch. He's down there just prior to the 50, and then he tries to get up. Is he completely up before he's touched? Yes, he is. And then the ball is advanced to just beyond the 50-yard line, if you can see that. Now, he got up off the ground and advanced that ball approximately
After reviewing the
3
play,
yards.
The runner's left knee was down with the ball at the 50-yard line. The ruling on the field stands. Pittsburgh will be charged with their 2nd team timeout.
So they lose it and they get charged their 2nd. It's very rare you see 2 timeouts, 1 by each team after a dead ball, but that's what we had there.
Yeah, and that was going to be a critical. At no point, I think it was really not a very good challenge by Coach Tomlin, because I don't think at any point he got the first down, Bob. You know what I mean? So he still had a yard to go, half a yard to go, even if they got the best of the spot. What Coach Tomlin thought he would go ahead and challenge. He loses that challenge. He loses the timeout, and now they're still going forward on 4th down.
And they got the big package unit in there. Tank Summers, who's looking to make this roster. 44 is the lead blocker at fullback. Rashard Mendenhall behind him. We'll see what they call here on 4th down and 1, right at midfield. Handoff straight ahead. Mendenhall gets the yardage and more, and finally knocked down there. But after a nice game, Brian Witherspoon from behind. Steelers retain the football.
Coach Sean Kugler has to be happy with his offensive line up front. Watch the hand fighting. These guys are trying to get guys out of the way. Rashard Mendenhall picks his hole and almost breaks that one. Very close to breaking one more tackle and being off to the races. A very tough call. 4th and 1. The Steelers go for it, run the football, and get it.
Empty backfield. Rashard Mendenhall in the slot position now. Roethlisberger backs, avoids traffic, flips it over, and has his man. That's Heath Miller inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. This is a guy, Edmund, I think is going to have a huge season for the Steelers. He had 76 catches last year, shattering the record at tight end. Gain of 13 right there.
You know, you have to love Heath Miller, and if he didn't catch a ball every once in a while, you wouldn't even know he was around during camp. I mean, all he does is his job, gets out there every day, comes to work, and he's about as sure-handed a tight end as you'll see in the league.
Bunch formation now to the left for the Steelers. Arnaz Battle deploys to the right. Steelers moving the football now. Another handoff to Mendenhall. Good blocking, spin move, gaining about 4 yards right there as we approach the 6-minute mark of this first quarter.
And on cue, Heath Miller had the key block, getting his man and turning him to the outside. And now Ben is now executing that no-huddle offense that you were talking about.
Tonight's game, by the way, is brought to you in high definition in partnership with Xfinity by Comcast. 2nd and 6 now for Roethlisberger. Another handoff. Steelers trying to establish themselves on the ground. And again, it's a pretty good gain up the middle as Mendenhall falls very close to the 1st down yardage now. I don't know where the mark will be, but it's going to be close.
This is what Art Rooney II called for. A little bit more running. Look at the cutback. Look at the fella looking at the cutback. Gets up in there now. He needed to explode and watch. You see him look up to the sky. He knows right there when he gets that cutback, he needed to explode up in that hole, pick his feet up, not let anybody tackle him around those ankles, but still a very good run, although he needed 1 extra yard to get that first down.
Once again, short yardage formation. Summers, lead blocker in there. Matt Spaeth checks into the game. Handoff again, Mendenhall following that offensive line surge, and they get another first down, a steady diet of runs, a gain of 3 yards. That was Mewelde Moore, I'm sorry, in there. He checked in as well.
And we're not trying to fool anybody. Just watch him come up in and hit this hole right here. Just turns it up. Mewelde Moore, he knows what to do with it. Right up, knows right where the first down marker is. Hits it up in there. Look at the big guys standing around protecting their little running back. You got to love that. Mike Tomlin's looking very closely at this offensive line, seeing if he can get somebody out there to block somebody to get that running game going.
First and 10 for the Steelers once again. Mewelde Moore to the left side, following Max Starks, spinning at the 10, the 5, down to the 4-yard line. A good lead caravan there. Max Starks provided the blocking, Mewelde Moore provided the legs, and they get another first down.
Holding, number 68.
Except
offense.
it's going to be coming back.
Chris Kemoeatu, number 68, called for the holding. The best run blocker out of that offensive line. That left side with Chris Kemoeatu and Max Starks, usually where the Steelers like to run the football. And again, Big Chris getting caught with his hands in the wrong place. And one of those drive killers, Bob, that Coach Tomlin hates to have. When you're trying to execute and get the ball in the end zone, you want to try to go mistake-free. You're right down near the red zone, and now you're outside of the red zone. You have to make a play.
First and 20 now, nullifying a first down run, which would have set up first and goal for the Steelers. Instead, now it's first and 20. Roethlisberger pump fakes, fires over the head of his intended receiver there, and it's Hines Ward, and he was open temporarily, and Ben wants to have that one back.
Yes, he certainly would. You could see his hands go to his head after throwing that ball. He knows he missed him. He was wide open with room to spare on the sidelines. Watch the little pump fake, the throw off the safety, and then he throws it and just overthrows it. Look at all that room there, Bob. 12 yards to the sidelines. He had a chance to make a play. He's like, oh, my goodness.
Well, that's why the Steelers want to get him work. He's going to have 4 weeks or so of inactivity. A little screen pass to Mewelde Moore. Avoids one man. Can't avoid a couple, but a nice little run there by Moore inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Good yard after catch run by Mewelde Moore.
This play was red. This play wasn't supposed to go anywhere. But Mewelde Moore makes a little move to the inside. Now watch this. He's done. He's good. 29 has him dead to rights. He makes a little move to the inside, and this is what makes Mewelde Moore the back that he is. Not great speed, but shifty enough. Watch the little inside move. Oops. Makes him miss, and then comes to the inside and gets something where there was nothing.
This is the 11th play of the drive coming up for the Steelers here. 3rd and 13. They need to get inside the 6 for a first and goal. Roethlisberger under a little bit of pressure now. Flips it over the middle. Has his man, but it's going to be short of the first down. Good play there by Jamar Williams making the tackle, but it's going to go for a short gain. It's going to set up 4th down and an appearance by Jeff Reed.
A little bit of pressure coming up the middle. Ben Roethlisberger standing in the pocket, making a play, but not quite enough, and that's the drive killer, Bob, as you saw. The holding penalty changed the whole complexion of this drive, and now they have to settle for a Jeff Reed field goal as opposed to getting a scoring opportunity for a touchdown in the red zone.
All right, this will be a 33-yard attempt here for Reed, which should be well within his range. Kicks it, it's up, and it's good. Casey missed from 51. Reed connects from 33. And the Steelers have the first points of the night, even though they lost an opportunity for a touchdown with that holding call on Kemoeatu. Steelers up by 3. 33-yard field goal by Jeff Reed has the Steelers on the board. 3-zip. Hey, if you think cheerleading isn't a sport, the CW wants to prove you wrong this fall. Ashley Tisdale and Ali McCulka star as highly competitive college cheerleaders in Hellcats. You can check it out. It premieres Wednesday, September the 8th at 9 after America's Next Top Model, only on Pittsburgh's CW. Jeff Reed ready to kick it off. Back deep, Jordan Pugh along with David Geddes. 11 plays before the field goal for Jeff Reed, and the Steelers get first blood after John Casey missed from 51.
In Pugh.
And it's going to be taken by Geddes as the ball lands about a yard deep in the end zone. He's a big kid out of Baylor. Geddes with some room. Nice shaking and baking there. And finally, it's Jeff Reed and Stephon Logan in on the tackle, but David Geddes is one of those guys that they like. He was a 6th-round pick out of Baylor this year.
And Stephon Logan with the big hit. Coming in, this is a guy that's trying to make the football team any way he can. The smallest guy on the field making the biggest hit.
All right, we're going to take a break. Panthers back on offense when we come back live to Heinz Field. All right, we're back as the Steelers have pedaled in front here, 3-0 with 2:32 left in the first quarter. Carolina back on offense. Hunter Cantwell, 14, is your quarterback. He stays in there. Matt Moore took the job over for Jake Delhomme after a strong finish last year. Number 3, he's on the sidelines. 4-1 in his final 5 games, and they said, all right, Delhomme's expendable, and he is your guy, although he's somewhat unproven. They're going with him. They drafted Jimmy Clausen, and we should see Tony Pike a little later in this game as well. Jarrett in motion, the big wide receiver out of USC. And it's a fake handoff, play action. Cantwell delivers, deflected, up in the air, incomplete. Good play by the Steeler defense there, and it was tipped.
Cantwell's pass incomplete.
Looked like Kieran Fox got his mitts on it.
It was Kieran Fox. Very nice coverage coming off, running with the drag route. This ball just a little bit low, and Kieran making the nice adjustment, coming across the middle of the field and getting a paw on it. Usually when you see a tip ball like that, it's tip drill for the defensive backfield, and that ball usually is intercepted. Unfortunately, a little bit too much heat on it.
2nd and 10. Kieran Fox made a living with special teams, got a chance to play a lot last year, and now has become one of the regulars of that linebacking core. Handoff goes to Mike Goodson, and Larry Foote says, but he misses the tackle. And from behind, finally it looked like Ryan Clark was in there to make the tackle, but Foote had him and let him go.
Foote usually a very sure tackler, but again, making the pursuit on the Carolina side of the line of scrimmage, you have to come down with it there, but got enough of a piece of him that his friends could catch him before he got very far. Larry Foote, the returning veteran after spending a year in Detroit, his hometown.
Went there, get an opportunity to play a lot, which he did, but then he missed the opportunity to win, as what happens when you go to Detroit. So he wanted to come back, and it's good to have him back in a depth role here, and very comfortable with it. Shotgun, high snap, and instead it's a bad throw, and it goes out to Kenneth Moore, and he's kneeling and crawling his way to try to get some yardage, but Ike Taylor says no. He and Williams start to play. You know, Ike Taylor got ejected earlier, and they've had some problems after dead balls. That's not what you want to see. They're going to be short of a first down in a punt formation.
Ike Taylor needs to calm down, use a little more poise, and he did. He constrained himself a little bit there, but look, as he taps him down, now he's got issues with the offensive guard, and just a little push in the chest, and you know that's when you want to look bad. As a defensive back, you want to look bad like you want to attack the big guy, but he wanted no parts of that guy that's 320 plus.
Jason Baker, line drive kick. Emmanuel Sanders with a chance to return it. Tries to get some yardage, gets a little over the 30, and that's about it. Penalty flag is down.
Sanders on the return, flag on the play.
Sanders looking for every opportunity to get his hands on the football and make a big play.
During the return, holding 26 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That would be Will Allen, the free agent they brought in, and we have a new quarterback also. Ben Roethlisberger's work is done, and Byron Leftwich. And the first team offensive line and receivers remain in the game, and this is the way you want it, because last week, Edmund, number 4 got a chance to play, but it wasn't until the third quarter he got hit on every single play.
And this is where you would think that he would have been initially coming in, but you would have thought that if he's going to be the starter, he would have started this football game. However, that's why we're in the booth, and Mike Tomlin has the Super Bowl ring and is on the sidelines, Bob. He makes the big decisions when it counts, and right now is when he decided that Byron Leftwich would take over this game.
I would think that because he's in right now indicates that he is the leading contender to be the number 1 guy on September the 12th, right here against the Atlanta Falcons. A very tough beginning for the Steelers. That's a good Atlanta team led by Mr. Ryan at quarterback. Welday Moore, short yardage. Boy, he's sandwiched down on about the 23-yard line.
Byron Leftwich, a guy that admittedly says that he really doesn't think he needs a lot of work, although I don't agree with that. I think all the snaps you can get, you should take them, especially when you're making the transition from a team, Tampa Bay, and coming up here to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Didn't have that great a season, Bob, last year in Tampa Bay, and eventually was traded here because the Steelers felt that they really needed him here, especially with what happened to Big Ben and what's going to happen to him the first couple of weeks of the season.
Leftwich, 4 years in Jacksonville, 1 with Atlanta, 4 games in Tampa Bay. Pressure now, he stands up to it, throws a beautiful delivery there, and a first down catch. What a catch by the rookie, Emmanuel Sanders. 26 yards and a rifle, and that's his strength, that arm of his.
What a beautiful pass this is. The play action to the opposite way. He rolls out, stands tall into the pocket, and lets it go. Gets hit, but leads his receiver to the sidelines. Only Sanders can make that catch, and indeed he does. What a great play.
Big play for number 88. He's looking good after being selected in the 3rd round. We've completed 1 quarter from Heinz Field. The Steelers have the only points, a 33-yard field goal by Jeff Reed after a 51-yard miss by John Casey. We're back with 2nd quarter action right here.
Ball is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health. By Verizon Wireless, your signal reigns on America's largest and most reliable wireless network, Verizon. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Get your game face on. Play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new Pittsburgh Steeler Instant.
All right, we're back. 1 quarter in the books, 3 more to go, and we start 2nd quarter with the Steelers in possession of the football at their own 48-yard line. Byron Leftwich under center, and Emmanuel Sanders, who really was terrific on that previous catch. It's Mwelde Moore now avoiding a couple of guys, turning the legs. The veteran gets even 3 yards, hard-earned yards right there.
And Frank the Tank Summers leading that play, coming in, trying to find himself a roster spot in front of Isaac Redmond, who is his primary competition.
2nd down and 6.
This Carolina defense, as I said, off to a good start. 18 sacks. They had 7 last week and a 15-7 win over Tennessee. It's about the only thing to talk about because offense is just not clicking. Now you could read whatever you want into it, but they need to score some points this year. They're missing some key players from last year on defense. This is Leftwich under pressure and then does the veteran thing, throw it away. That's one thing that Dennis Dixon did not do last week when he was rolling out, led to the interception by Parrish Cox.
Don't quite know what Dennis Dixon was thinking about on that particular play. Maybe he thought he was throwing it where only his receiver could catch it. But if there's any doubt in your mind, you have to throw that ball away, and that's exactly what Leftwich did there.
And we have an injured Carolina Panther down there. Can't see the number. Looks like 53. Jamar Williams. He made a couple of nice hits early in this game, and if it is him, he's a pretty good player they're counting on. They have a thin linebacking core. We'll be back. I want to remind you guys, the Chief, the Pittsburgh Public Theater smash hit starring Tom Atkins, is now a movie. Wildly entertaining story about the life of the Chief, Art Rooney, legendary founder of the Steelers, and you can see it coming to theaters this fall, available on DVD in November. Go to thechiefmovie.com. Pre-order yours today. Gene Collier, Rob Zellers, a terrific job with it. Tom Atkins, brilliant in that role, playing the Chief, so make sure you check it out. All right, this is a big 3rd and 6 now for Byron Leftwich and the offense. Decent protection. He fires high over the head of Arnez Battle. Good coverage there by Brian Witherspoon, who had 2 interceptions last week. Number 32 did against Tennessee.
On the coverage,
Byron taking a long look there, maybe thinking that the defensive back got there just a bit early, but not contested. Byron trying to sharpen his skills, getting ready for week 1 without a lot of work, and that's created some controversy among those of us who talk about the game.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll keep talking about it. Daniel Sepulveda trying to put this ball inside the 20-yard line. Witherspoon's going to fair catch it, although it bounces over his head. A beautiful job down there covering that kick by number 23, Keenan Lewis. It's a 45-yard effort by Sepulveda. Those are the hidden yards, Edmund, that are so important, and Al Everett, the special team coach, has to love that. Sepulveda jacked up. There's Everett. Steelers go back on defense when we come back. We're back. 3-0 is the score. Steelers have the lead, but they've pinned Carolina back against their own goal line. Panthers starting position, their own 27, their own 28, and now they're 3. And Jim Belushi, Jerry O'Connor star in The Defenders, a new legal drama about 2 Las Vegas defense attorneys who fight for the little guy. Watch The Defenders. It starts Wednesday at 10, CBS, September the 22nd. Steelers are the defenders right now, and they got their 2nd team unit in there. Hunter Cantwell remains a quarterback. Keenan Lewis into the game for the first time. Handoff right ahead, not much there for number 40, Josh Vaughn. And we want to see what this team could do down here as the crowd came to life on that. Chris Hokey Pokey, a veteran there on that defensive line.
A lot of the young linebackers in there. Stevenson, Sylvester, Renald Williams, Jason Worlds. These guys are fighting for a roster spot. May not be enough room for all of them, but they're all in there trying to find themselves a place on this Pittsburgh Steelers roster.
Dantrell Savage checks into the game for Carolina. Steelers, a lot of auditions going on. This is a final opportunity. Savage gets plowed, but he keeps on moving. Boy, he took that first hit. Some linebackers. Worlds was in there 97 among a couple of guys, but Savage gets up and says, I want more. He's only 5'8", 182. Jason Worlds, second-round pick. He's got a big engine.
Renard Williams again with the fill. Watch this fill coming in here and turns him around. Boom! Right there, bouncing him to the outside. These young guys are not going to let this Carolina Panthers running game go anywhere. And if they're smart, that's the right thing to do.
Stevenson Sylvester has made a case for himself. The 5th-round pick this year out of Utah. Kid can play, and we'll see what happens here when roster cuts. They got to get down to 53 here. Hannah Cantwell throws, and he has his, and there it is, outside. It's close to a first down, and it goes to Kenneth Moore. Cantwell to Moore, and it looks like first down yardage.
Keenan Lewis, now watch him on the corner. He had the tough game last week. Just a little bit of hesitation right there. You have to know, you have to be able to read that and be able to read the quarterback. Yeah, I understand that he knows that he has the deep third right there, but he had help over the top. He had a chance to really make a play there. Just a little bit late on his read. He's got to get a little bit quicker, and the only way he's going to do that is by getting some snaps, just as he is right now.
All right, it's first down yardage. Quick out to Moore. He bobbles it, and he's hit immediately by Lewis, who gave up a couple of yardage off the line of scrimmage. That's a short gain, but pass was bobbled and looked like it might fall to the ground, but he held on.
Well done there. Well done. Way to come up out of his position. The quick throw, trying to get it to the wide receiver and let him make a play. And the one bobble gives Keenan Lewis time to close and to make a play for just 2-yard gain. That's a very nice play by Keenan. Needs to settle down, stop with all of the extracurricular stuff, and just play football. He's going to be a good one.
Ziggy Hood got off to a pretty good start in this camp, and 96 hasn't done a lot. I don't know how much he's played, actually, though. We haven't called his name a lot during this preseason, as did preseason as it rolled on. They're expecting big things from him, second year. And Hunter Cantwell doesn't like what he sees, and before the clock ticks down, he calls a timeout, and that'll be the second for Carolina.
That's what happens when you have a backup quarterback in there. John Fox kind of looking around like, what is going on?
John Fox talks about it. We'll take a time. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson back with you in the booth. 11:39 left in this first half. Steelers have the only points at 3-0. And now it's time to check out the PNC scoreboard. Brought to you by PNC for the Achiever in Us All. Preseason wraps up tonight. A lot of interesting conversation pieces about who will emerge from the AFC. A lot of good teams. New England suffered a big setback when Lee Bawden is now done. He got hurt, and they gave him $26 million to go over there. He was counting on being their #1 cornerback, but he's now out for the season. All right, 2nd and 7. Cantwell under pressure, delivers, poised over the middle, but it's juggled and dropped there by Dantrell Savage out of the backfield, and that goes incomplete.
And there's Stevenson Sylvester making the big hit while the ball was being bobbled. And even if there was a catch, still short of the first down. Watch, oh, was that the first appearance of Alligator Arms? He did not have, wait a minute, let me look. What? Oh my goodness. That's a close one. It looked like he was anticipating getting hit, and the arms were about elbow length long there, Bob.
First time this preseason, huh?
Yeah, well, it always appears some kind of way.
All right, 3rd and 7. Steelers trying to get the ball back in good field position after the beautiful punt by Daniel Sepulveda. Under pressure, and he's sacked. Cantwell goes down, and there is the veteran, Nick Eason, who comes in. We haven't talked much about him, and he may be on the bubble as well, but he's made a big play right there on 3rd and 7.
I guarantee you, Nick Eason is one of those guys that's going to be around unblocked. You got to love this as a defensive lineman. So many guys up there in Dick LeBeau's defense, they forgot to block the one guy that they really needed to. Nick Eason had a pretty good camp after recovering from some surgery and all kinds of mishaps during the preseason. Right after OTAs, comes in and makes a big play.
Jason Baker, and the punt goes to Emmanuel Sanders with some real estate. He is shaking and baking, trying to get loose, just cannot do it. Finally a run down there as the Steelers have very good field position as their defense comes through after the nice kick by Sepulveda. Quentin Culberson is there to make that stop, but the Steelers have good operating position. Hey, want to remind you about Nikita. It's gone rogue from Division, an ultra-secret government agency trained to be invisible assassins. No one ever leaves Division except the charming and deadly Nikita, played by international action star Maggie Q. Don't miss it. It's September 9th at 9 after the Vampire Diaries on Pittsburgh's CW, which is the home of the Subway Nightly Sports Call every night, 10:35. Call us with your opinions. A lot of good programming coming to CW this fall. We'll talk more about it later. Byron Leftwich remains in the game. He has time. He fires with that cannon arm right on the money. And again, it's Emmanuel Sanders. The two have combined for 2 nice catches. And it looks like Leftwich took a little shot to the knee, a gain of 17 yards.
Got turned around, twisted around awkwardly on that one pivot leg, Bob, as he let that thing go. He's kind of hobbled a little bit, but very quietly you see some of the starters on the offensive line. Trey Essex is in there. Max Starks is in there. And oddly enough, you have Mike Wallace in there. So you're trying to get Byron Leftwich with some timing. Watch the injury here. He's on that front foot and gets run into, and you see that knee buckle a little bit, and he is in some pain as he goes to a knee in the huddle. Hopefully he can stay in there, but you can tell he's in some discomfort, Bob, grabbing that left knee. You can see it wobble as contact was made.
Well, I just remember him at Marshall. Remember when he got
being
hurt?
Carried down
being
the field,
carried
yeah.
down the field, continued to play. This is one of the risks, however, when you're in this deep into a preseason game, and I suppose one of the reasons why John Fox has decided not to play a lot of his starters, although, again, this is a very unique situation for the Steelers with this quarterback situation.
But there's no precedent for what Mike Tomlin should have done. And you can tell Mike Tomlin's concerned because he's out there in the huddle taking a look at his starting quarterback.
All right, we're back, and you see Dr. Bradley, John Norwood, the trainer, looking at his left leg, and he got whipped into by it looked like an offensive lineman as the pressure came. And boy, Byron Leftwich, you talk about decisions being made. Charlie Batch, a lot of people wonder what his future will be like, but if there's an injury here, you see the left side of your screen, Edmund.
Right in there. Take a look right there where he gets hit. Oh, my goodness. The knee wobbled a little bit. Hopefully he's okay.
All right, Dennis Dixon now checks into the game, hands off Mwelde. Moore gets pummeled right there. Really big hit by number 35, who is R.J. Stanford out of Utah. And he delivered the blow. 7th round pick in 2010 this year. Listen to it.
I wonder who delivered this blow. Looks like Mwelde got the better part of that one. I think Mwelde was the guy lowering the shoulder on that one. That's the way to run the football.
They like that
hard.
kid Stanford, though. They did. They drafted him in the 7th round, and he slipped a little. They thought he might be available earlier. But they chose someone else. They took a lot of defensive linemen because of what I described earlier. There's a penalty. Looks like Carolina jumped there a little bit, and Moore gets first down yardage, but the flag, we'll see what Walt Coleman has to say.
All kinds of movement, looks like, from the Carolina side of the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Defense. Penalties decline. Play results in a first down.
Watch these guys, see if they kind of stay on side. Everybody's movement. Oh, there it is right there. And now the Steeler offensive line goes to work. And Mwelde Moore, look at that. Look at the line of scrimmage moving down the field there, folks. Look at that. They blew those guys a good 2 or 3 yards back before Mwelde was even touched. And Mwelde just meandered his way through the traffic and got an easy first down. Good job by that Steelers offensive line.
Steelers have 2 new tight ends in the game. Matt Spaeth along with Johnson. Summers in motion now. And it's a play action. Here comes the pressure. Dixon stands, delivers, has his man Emmanuel Sanders, who gets into the end zone. Touchdown, his 3rd reception of the night. And this one is good for 6, but there is a flag on the play. 23 yards on that connection.
Very well done. Max Starks getting up a little slow. Dennis Dixon getting up a little slow. Looked like it could have been defensive holding.
54. Defense. Penalties decline.
It's on Morty Ivy. Kid out of West Virginia, out of Gateway High School, illegal contact, and that will result in a Steeler touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown, 2 wide receiver rookies who have done very well.
And they're going to be on this team, Bob. And that's Dennis Dixon making a play. You know, Bob, sometimes when you worry so much about a situation, sometimes it may take care of itself. They are still looking at Byron Leftwich's knee, and Dr. Bradley is talking to him right now. As in the meantime, Dennis Dixon makes a big play and connects. So the decision may be taken out of everyone's hands and put in the hands of injury and somebody showing up.
You never know. Wild turn of events here at Heinz Field. An injury to Byron Leftwich. Dennis Dixon completes the drive, which was set up by a good punt by Daniel Sepulveda. The defense then did its job. They got good field position. The only negative is Byron Leftwich, who got hit by somebody's left leg on the offensive line. Troy Polamalu talking to him right now. And we'll find out hopefully later. Jeff Brazella is on the sidelines. Hopefully we can get some information on the nationwide sideline report.
A lot of the veterans coming over there. Potsy now coming over, having a talk with him. Very tough.
Hey, Steeler fans, you can enjoy tonight's game once again. Saturday evening, 7:30 on Pittsburgh CW. Every second of every play. Check it out. 7:30 on Pittsburgh's CW. You see Leftwich now leaving the game, and at least he's walking off on his own. We'll find out what it is. But that is not good news, because we have all come to the conclusion, at least we think, he was going to be the starter, and he still might be. Hopefully he's okay, but if not, that changes a lot of things, and you would imagine Charlie Batch might have an opportunity, given the fact that he's been around here for a long time, and there are those who out there thought that maybe Batch might even be released now, but we're going to see him, I'm sure, in the second half.
There was a lot of speculation as to whether Charlie Batch would even make this cut, even with the Steelers having only 2 quarterbacks if he has to go. I, however, was not one of those guys, but now it seems Charlie's going to have to stay.
All right, Steelers up 10-zip, and here comes the kick, and it's taken by Mr. Gibbons there. David Geddes, I should say, not Gibbons, and he gets hammered there. And Carolina will go to work offensively. But once again, Sanders with the touchdown reception. Boy, he's looked good here tonight. He's looked good all preseason, as has Brown. And that's why Stephon Logan is one of those guys who may be on the bubble here.
Yeah, you just can't keep everyone, and Stephon doing his best. But watch this tackle. Now you see Stevens and Sylvester coming up there trying to get a shot. Just misses him and claps his hands. But that's the kind of aggressiveness you need on the cover teams. And there's Charlie Batch now figuring a little bit more in the picture, depending on what the situation is with Byron Leftwich.
Cantwell remains in the game. Handoff straight ahead. Ryan Mundy, one of the guys there to make the tackle there on Mr. Savage, who got hit hard on the last time he carried the ball. So that'll be gain of about 5 yards. 2nd and 5 now for Carolina.
You go back to that play, Bob. I mean, that's just absolutely mind-boggling that something would happen to this. And now the second guessing starts all over again. Well, you know, should he have even been in this preseason game? You know, should he have gotten his work last week if he indeed was going to be a starter? Now you're stuck. You may be stuck with Dennis Dixon coming in and being the starter. Lots of controversy here in the final game of the preseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Number 10, Armani Edwards. Again, the Wildcat formation, hands up the middle. And they have a role for this kid. He can flat out fly. He's led them in receiving this preseason, 7 catches for 50 yards. But number 10 from Appalachian State, they won 3 straight national championships. And one of the receivers on this team, Dexter Jackson, played with him. They got flat out speed. You remember when Appalachian State went into the big house? What was it, 2007 against Michigan? And pulled that huge upset.
That's exactly
34-32. He was the guy on the team making things happen. He and Dexter Jackson.
Let you know right there that they weren't a joke. Appalachian State had some talent.
He remains in the game. Hand off, and it goes to Josh Vaughn, and Patrick Bailey has none of it. 55, who's on the bubble himself. He's a great special teams player, but when you make plays like that on the field, you improve your status.
That's the second great play on defense that he's made. Quite capable of playing in Dick LeBeau's scheme, making the plays as he should from the outside linebacker position, showing those guys that, hey, coach, I want to play, I want to stay around here. And he's got some stiff competition, especially with the Steelers drafting 3 linebackers.
All right, Steelers force another punt situation, and it's Baker. He will kick it back. Emmanuel Sanders looking to see what's going to happen here. Maybe he can return one as well. He's got the speed that they love. A flag, again, pre-snap penalty on Carolina. No, apparently not.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
First down.
And that's a critical
First
one.
down.
Steelers made motion that was against them, but Walt Coleman says, neutral zone infraction, and that's a bad one if you're a coach. You don't want to see that. You give them an automatic first down. They return their offense to the field.
Yeah, now Everest is just beside himself like, okay, guys, just watch the ball. We got the ball in our court. Just watch it and make a play. And he's having a little talk with Ike Redmond right there. Hopefully he wasn't the culprit.
1st and 10.
Penalties a problem last week in Denver, 11 them on the Steelers. Tonight, Carolina has zip. The Steelers have 4 for 30 yards. Their offense returns. Given a second life on this particular possession here. Cantwell looking long now, is going to fire it, and this was going to be almost picked off by Keenan Lewis, who had Dwayne Jarrett covered like a blanket, but he could not hang on.
Had his hands on that one, Bob. Had his hands on that one and was thinking about the run after the catch. Wide receiver makes a nice play. Watch this. The ball's going to come out. He's got good position on him. Sees the ball all the way, goes up, and he's got it. And just got his fingertips on it. The receiver comes up, taps it right there, as you can see, knocks it out of his hands. He had a pick right there, and he knows it.
Keenan Lewis last week, not a good performance. This week trying to atone, and so far has done a pretty good job. Pitch goes to Josh Vaughn. Trying to get some extra yardage, and he does.
Ziggy Hood in the middle of that, making a very nice play. We hadn't said his name a whole lot, but you know what? In Dick LeBeau's defensive scheme, you don't mention the defensive line's names a lot. You know, those guys are there to protect those linebackers, let those guys flow, do their thing. And that's why you have big defensive ends that can take on in two-gap and play the side of those big offensive tackles. Ziggy Hood just blocked everything up on that last play.
All right, 10-zip. Steelers have the lead. 3rd and 7, a chance to get off the field here. Play clock winding down. Some confusion, it looks like, by Carolina. And once again, they're going to have to burn a timeout here, and did not get the play in time. So now it's time. Let's go to Jeff Rosella, Nationwide on your side. Sideline report, an update on Byron Leftwich. JV, what's up down there?
All right, thanks very much, Bob. Official word from the Steelers is that Byron has a left knee injury and will not return. He did go to the locker room walking very gingerly. I certainly wasn't able to read the lips as they were examining him on the sidelines, but from what I can tell by the facial expressions, nobody's very happy. Bob?
All right. Officially out for the game, and you see the left knee got hit in a whiplash move there, and he looks very pessimistic at this point. This is a guy who expected to be the starter.
And his teammates, the veteran Potsy, came up to him. James Farrier, you can see Troy Polamalu coming up to him as he was sitting on the bench. And Mike Tomlin there just kind of thinking about his situation. It's been taken out of his hands now, for the time being anyway. And Dennis Dixon looks like he may be the guy.
Stick around. We have a post-game report tonight after the game. We'll try to update you as best we can. And once again, Stevenson Sylvester moves in with cat-like quickness, and he makes a sack right there. This kid is making a play for being one of their regular linebackers, at least in depth. He was quick off the ball, his second sack.
Look at him coming off the edge right there, unblocked, and look at the speed. Everybody says, he plays high. You know, he's high-waisted, got those long legs. This kid can play football and will probably stick and stay. You have to have that kind of speed out there, and he's one of those guys that can also play special teams.
Loss of 13 yards, and now the Steelers will get the ball back. Sanders backpedaling at his 22, goes sidelines now, trying to spin to the outside, still on his feet, and knocked down there, but nice return by the exciting number 88. Interesting, he wears that Lynn Swan number. Quinty Culberson was there to make that play, but you got some big shoes to fill with 88 if you're wearing those.
Any number but that. And look who's going into the game, Bob. Look who's going into the game to get some snaps. Charlie Batch. And it's about time, if you ask me.
Well, this has been one of the most unusual quarterback situations in preseason I think I've ever seen, for extenuating circumstances that we know about with Roethlisberger. And now Charlie Batch, who some say might have been released, he's got a lot of experience. But remember, I think one of the things that maybe they were taking into account, a lot of injuries. He had it last year, broke his wrist against Kansas City.
Of course they were, yeah, absolutely.
And then the collarbone, when we did those preseason games, when he went down, that led to that audition between Leftwich and Culpepper, and eventually Leftwich got the job. But now, with Leftwich going down, and we don't know the lot of speculation about what the Steelers might do here roster-wise starting tomorrow.
And think about why he's going into the game right now. Well, he's going into the game right now. If you start speculation, just watch his ankle right here as it gets rolled. It falls into it, and his ankle takes a really odd-looking bend down to the ground. And if you're squeamish, you really don't want to watch that one. And again, Mike Tomlin out there checking on his big offensive lineman, Scott.
Justin Vincent fell on his ankle there as he was being tackled, and Jonathan Scott was brought in, you know, from Buffalo, last couple of seasons there, originally fifth round pick of the Lions. So he was a veteran guy, and certainly they liked him. John Kugler, the offensive line coach, coached him last year in Buffalo, recommended him. He's been playing a lot of tackle, but you look at the, you wonder about injuries, and they have some injured players there, and you're going to have to see what happens. Willie Colon out for the season with a injury in OTAs. He looks okay, though. That's good news for 72.
Yeah, okay to get off the field, but can he play, and how long is it going to take to get him back? And remember, there's offensive linemen that are playing for position too, but this quarterback situation has become very intriguing. If you read a little bit in between kind of what's going on, what would be the reasons that you would have Charlie Batch in here so early with the first half not even being over, not expecting Dennis Dixon to come back?
Playing time.
Absolutely.
Get the rust off. Charlie might have to play, and we'll see. Now, what a turn of events here. Isaac Redmond, he likes to play. Red, as they call him, is green like money in a bank. Isaac Redmond, I think, is definitely locked up a roster spot there. Big chunk of yardage as he goes into Carolina territory. Good blocking up front, too. Justin Hartwig in the game at center.
Watch the blocking up front. Big Isaac Redmond coming, the lead blocking, finds the first hole. Good block on the outside there by the fullback Tank. Makes the cut back, and then he tries to find somebody to hit. He ain't going to outrun anybody, so let me see if I can find somebody to run into. Finds a bunch of white shirts to run into. Watch it. Look at the lead block. Look at that block out there by Tank. He makes the cut inside, and then he just cuts around and runs for some white shirts. Okay, who can I hit? Who can I spin off of? Who can I embarrass?
19 yards on that pickup, straight ahead running right now. And we told you about the Steelers recommitting to the run. Last year, they passed the ball 56% of the time, which is not the way you want the pendulum to go. Now, Bruce Arians still loves what he does from that offensive point of view, but the message was delivered by the president. We got to run more, especially in short yardage.
And when the president speaks, I think everybody has to listen. And he did, and they have, and they're doing a nice job with the running game.
Saw the leg there of Jonathan Scott, right ankle, and they're looking at it, took the shoe off, so hopefully that's not going to be bad either. Steelers getting thin all of a sudden, depth-wise. 2nd and 4, handoff straight up the middle again. Redmond, this time not much there. As the Carolina linebacking core comes. Jamar Williams leads the way.
There'll be a lot of running here on the way out. Bob, and when you try to prevent injury, what you want to be both offensively and defensively, you want to be aggressive. You want to be going after people. You want to be doing your job. There'll be 90% runs called from here on out because they're going to try to get this game over with, get to the regular season healthy, keep guys healthy, keep guys aggressive, keep guys moving forward instead of being attacked. Because when you stand around, that's when you get hurt. And sometimes it doesn't even take a lot of that.
Going to pass here? No, they won't. Handoff once again. Good call to Redmond. Redmond up the middle, first down and more. They lined up with a spread offense, and then they handed off interiorly. A good job, good play call by Bruce Arians. Pick up first down yardage.
All this is spread everybody out and let Redmond run downhill on them, and you can see him just getting the hard yardage there. Watch this little fool him, little cutback blocking. Big Urbic down the field there. Craig Urbic finding somebody to hit, and Isaac Redmond looking to try to dig somebody out of there. And we're coming up on the 2-minute warning here, it looks like.
Redmond with 32 yards so far. And we have reached
the 2-minute warning.
The 2-minute warning. Charlie Batch now into the game. And you would think, based on this, that he's going to have to get more playing time. What with the injury to Byron Leftwich. We'll have more. All right, 10-0 in case you joined us late. The highlights of this game, Jeff Reed, 33-yard field goal, then a touchdown pass to Emmanuel Sanders. But the negative news here is that Byron Leftwich left the game, and it did not look good. Now, we don't have an official word other than he will not return. Left knee injury, but we'll find out hopefully more as we progress here. Charlie Batch under center. Dixon was in. They brought Batch in. And again, we're reading between the lines. It's like, okay, Charlie, we got to dust you off here and get you as much time in preparation of next week. We'll see. Hopefully more at halftime here. There's a handoff up the middle. Some hard hitting going on there, as you can see, as the Steeler offensive line trying to find some room there. Just was not available. 76 Greg Hardy, 6th-round pick this year out of Ole Miss, made that play.
Yeah, the Steelers are done trying to fool somebody and try to throw it and do all of the fluffy stuff. I think they're just going to go right at these guys, run the football downhill. If they get yardage, fine, but they're going to try to keep this clock running and try to get to the regular season and wear these guys down a little bit with the running game.
2nd and 8. Once again, handoff, nothing there. Jonathan Dwyer, who had a big game last week in Denver. You were impressed, 89 yards, and he made some big chunk of yardage after a real slow start to his Steeler career.
He did not endear himself to the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff, coming in a little bit overweight and being injured with his hamstring.
Back to the PNC preseason scoreboard. PNC for the achiever in us all. Coming up at halftime, they'll give the PNC Performance Award, Rookie of the Year. Cy Holzer, president of PNC, will be here. A lot of interesting teams, and normally in the NFL, Edmund, it's wide open. As long as you stay healthy, make plays, you can make a case for a lot of teams to get deep into the playoffs. Shotgun handoff, and once again it goes to Dwyer. And Dwyer has nothing there. Nick Harris makes the stop.
And the Steelers want to keep that clock running, really not worried about a scoring opportunity there. They'll put Mr. Reliable in there, Jeff Reed, to try to get a long field goal, but mainly concentrating on getting this half over. Get some good talk into his team, Coach Tomlin wants, and maybe let the clock run down here and call a late timeout.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you get like a cloud is overtaken Heinz Field. You get feeling in here. Looking at the faces of players and coaches, the fans, almost like a big, everybody collectively holding their breath, waiting to find out
Final team timeout
about Byron Leftwich,
Pittsburgh,
who looked good when he was in there, folks.
Timeout.
On the night, 243 yards.
But for injuries, Bob, at certain key situations, this is a pretty good football team. I mean, this Steeler team is a very good football team, but for injuries. They have some age on the defensive line, but they have some key guys around that could, if they stay healthy, this could be a very good football team and could challenge for the AFC North. I don't care what any expert says about Baltimore or Cincinnati. They have to prove it to me. They have to come out and show that they're the cream of the crop, because this is a team that can sneak up on some people. But for the injuries, they have to stay healthy this year.
Well, we've seen injuries to Baltimore. Cincinnati, you know, cuts Antonio Bryant after giving him $28 million, almost $8 million guaranteed, and he didn't do anything.
Never got on the field.
Unbelievable. 43-yard kick for Jeff Reed. Mr. Reliable is up and good. And that's the way the first half will come to an end. Reed with 2 field goals, and then the touchdown pass to Emmanuel Sanders. And the Steelers have a 13-0 lead, although they have a concern with Byron Leftwich. All right, you can score with the Steelers when you play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new Pittsburgh Steeler Instant Game. Win 1 of 5. Top prizes of $100 grand, more than $19 million in cash prizes overall. Or you could win second chance prizes, individual game tickets, VIP road trips, autographed jerseys, and more. Any fan would love. Play the Steeler Instant Game at the Pennsylvania Lottery. 13-0 is your halftime score. We'll come back with a Verizon Wireless halftime report and try to offer you the latest information on Byron Leftwich. We'll be back to Heinz Field right after this short timeout. Very much. Remember, Nationwide on your side sideline report. Also got the Nationwide Tour in town, the Milan Classic down at South Point. So far, we got Scott Dunlap, Jeffrey Siska, -6. Rocco Mediators there. Jason Gore plays in it as well. And by the way, there was a hole-in-one there today. David Robinson with a hole-in-one. Number 3 hit a 5-iron 177 into the cup. So just like you, Edmund, go down to South Point and check them out this weekend for the Milan Classic. All right, here it comes. Armani Edwards, that quarterback. Oh, did he get pounded there? At least it sounded, but he escaped. It looked like there was a headhunting mission going on there. I didn't see who launched himself at Edwards, but Carolina starts offensively.
You'll see some hitting going on right now. Listen to this. This is going to be something here. Watch this. This is contact. He missed him. He missed him, Bob. All that loud noise, and he missed him. My goodness, he got away with one there.
Edwards is pretty quick, though. He probably saw it coming and got out of the way. Unlike Niger Morgan last night, who got clotheslined, a former Pirate, in a brawl down there with the Florida Marlins. Boy, was that wild.
Should have been stealing those bases ahead 10, 11 runs.
People remember that in sports. First and 10. Handoff up the middle goes to Jason Vaughn, who bounces to the outside. Vaughn now gets first down yardage over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Jason Vaughn's pretty good running back out of Richmond, undrafted by Tampa Bay, and then he went to the Jacksonville practice squad, a gain of 11.
Jason Vaughn getting up into the line of scrimmage and then bouncing to the outside. The young guys are in the game, so they have to be taught. You have to wrap NFL runners up and get them on the ground, or they'll make big gainers like that.
New quarterback for Carolina is number 16, Tony Pike. And people who follow Pitt football certainly remember there's a miscommunication. Armani Edwards, who's a quarterback / wide receiver, learning that position, did not appear as if he saw that coming. But Tony Pike out of Cincinnati, 6'6", was a 6th round pick this year. And boy, he tortured a lot of teams in the Big East, including Pitt.
Quite a football player. Little inside move. No one's on the same page right there. He's like looking around for the football. The football's behind him. He's thinking he's going to block. No, you have to get on the same page, and that's what happens when you have young guys in the game not knowing what they're doing.
Pike, 2009 first team all Big East with 49 career touchdowns at Cincinnati. There's a nice play wrapped up on Jamie Petrowski, the tight end. And those linebackers for the Steelers continue to work real hard. And you saw the tackle there by Williams, who's had a pretty good game. Hey, tonight's game, by the way, Steeler game brought to you in high definition in partnership with Xfinity by Comcast. Xfinity, sponsors of our sports report nightly on KDK TV News. So check it out.
3rd down and 5.
Preston Butler in at one corner. The 5th round draft choice out of Clemson. Good ball player.
3rd down and 4. Pike rolling to his left. Pressure up the middle there by Ziggy Hood, and Nick Easy just throws it away. And it's going to set up a 4th down and a punt formation.
4th down and 4.
There's that Armani Edwards again. He had a rough series there.
Trying to make a cut, falls down, can't keep his legs underneath him, and now he's looking to the sidelines for help. And John Falk says, I can't help you, Rook. You got to do what you got to do.
All right, Stephon Logan back to receive this punt here by Jason Baker. Logan, a lot of people feel is on the bubble. He has very good credentials from last year, returning kicks, and he takes it now trying to find some extra yardage. Logan up the middle. Wrapped up at the 20-yard line. A good tackle there by the Panthers, but Logan trying to make something out of nothing. And Pittsburgh goes to work again on offense. That was Jordan Sen who made the tackle, 57.
Watch this run back. Think this guy doesn't want to make the team?
And Jeff Brazella with you. 13-zip. Steelers have the lead. 3rd quarter. Television's fastest growing comedy, The Big Bang Theory, moves to a new night and time this fall. Catch The Big Bang Theory, 8 o'clock Thursdays, starting September 23rd, only on KDKA and CBS. Jeff Brazella spoke with Mike Tomlin. In case you missed it, to recap, Charlie Batch will play the rest of the way. Byron Leftwich, not enough information, but we'll find out. It did not look good. And you would think that at this point now they're going to have Batch and Dixon. And who knows about Leftwich as they start the season against the Atlanta Falcons. There's Dwyer up the middle. And it really changes the dynamics of just about everything now.
Sure does.
Although keep in mind, Charlie Batch, when given opportunities to start, has done very well.
He can play. Oh, there's no question about Charlie Batch's ability to play football. It's just that he's been nicked up and banged up at the absolute wrong times. And think of this Charlie Batch going the rest of the way twofold. First of all, they want to keep that guy, Dennis Dixon, healthy for the opener if Byron Leftwich cannot play. And also, they want to get Charlie Batch some snaps, and they're going to certainly do that for the rest of this half.
Batch in his 13th season, age 35, a 2nd-round pick. You might remember all the way back to when he was with Detroit. Handoff again up the middle. The Steelers are certainly playing close to the vest, and I would imagine both teams want to do this and try to get away with no injuries, because already we have Leftwich and Jonathan Scott, the reserve tackle/guard, and he's been injured. We don't know the extent of that. Stick around. Mike Tomlin's press conference. His comments will come up in our Verizon Wireless post-game report.
Dennis Dixon going to stay close to B.A. Bruce Arians there to kind of make sure he knows what's going on in the game, but he will not see any more action here. And I would think that you will see Charlie Batch throw sparingly here, as needed, but only as needed.
You know, short drops, not here. 3rd and 4. Summers up, or make that Dwyer up the middle, and he gets very close to 1st down yard. Looks like about a half a yard short on the play. And again, Roethlisberger will head to New York tomorrow. Reports out there indicating he may try to get down to 3 games. Art Rooney will be with him. We'll follow that for you on KDKA TV. We will have people there. So for all the latest, tune in to KDK TV News at 6 and 11.
Jonathan Dwyer making his case to get his hands on the football a little bit more.
Brian Witherspoon back to receive this left-footed punt by Mr. Sepulveda, who had a great kick inside the 3-yard line. Early fair catch, another good booming kick by Daniel Sepulveda as the Steelers defense gets some room to work with.
What a weapon. What a weapon to have.
13-zip. We're back after this. 13-zip. Panthers have the Steelers have the lead, I should say. Steeler fans, you can enjoy tonight's game Saturday evening, a rebroadcast 7:30 on Pittsburgh CW. Every second of every play, check it out. Saturday, 7:30 on Pittsburgh's CW. And we invite you to check out our website for a lot of great information regarding fall sports. We have 2 West Virginia Mountaineer games. We'll be televising 5 Cal U Vulcan games. They've been terrific over the years. And of course, the Subway Nightly Sports Call, plus some other stuff that you might very well be interested in. For details, go to kdka.com for all the information of not only KDK, but CW Sports. Flag on the pre-snap.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Panthers continue to march back toward their old goal line now. This is a team, as I said, they lost a lot of people last year, John Fox did. They let Julius Peppers go. They lost 2 other interior defensive linemen. They're kind of rebuilding there. They got a young quarterback yet. A lot of people think they're going to win a division. A lot of pressure on John Fox. Armani Edwards, left-hander, throws and has his man there, David Geddes. And as I said, this guy, number 10, Edwards, does a lot. NCAA Division I history, 10,000 yards passing, 4,000 rushing.
What a throw. I mean, going to his left and throwing out. He's got some zip on that ball.
Cresdon Butler, number 40, a guy trying to make this roster, or at least a practice squad. And keep in mind, the Steelers do have opportunities there for a lot of these guys. And it certainly benefits young players like number 40 and others.
Cresdon Butler, a 5th-round draft choice out of Clemson. You know, the biggest thing is if they put these guys on the waiver wire, they might get snatched up by another team.
Edwards trying to go, and he's popped there. Will Allen comes up. A couple of other Steelers there. Good contact there.
Patrick Bailey again.
Patrick Bailey in the middle of right. A lot of guys.
Patrick Bailey again. I mean, this guy is playing some football tonight
Justin
on
Thornton.
defense. Watch him attack. Watch him attack. Patrick Bailey's going to come out of your screen. Look at that. Attacking the football on the Carolina side line of scrimmage. Just coming up, making a nice form tackle. This is a guy that's hungry. He wants to play. He wants to be noticed.
And he's in his 3rd season. He was the 08 Joe Green Award winner, the top rookie, and just a really good special teams player, but now feeling more comfortable playing defense, and he has to do that. Here comes the rush up the middle. Linebackers pinch in. Good throw by Edwards, trying to get first down yardage there as he goes to Dwayne Jarrett, but it's going to be short.
Pass complete to Jarrett.
Patrick Bailey showing how valuable he is, making all of those signal calls, getting everybody in the right place, getting his guys there, preventing the first down, making a big 3rd down call. The rush is coming hard, but they don't get to him, but still, good play there. Number 40, Cresdon Butler, making a nice play.
All right, Antonio Brown. He's taken 2 back this year, 2 touchdowns, both on the receiving end of touchdown passes. He's trying to get something to the outside here, 84. And he does. He gets a nice block, and he's down the sideline in about the 42-yard line. A good return by 84, and this will further complicate Stephon Logan's situation, because if he can do that and play wide receiver the way he has after that 23-yard return, that is good news for him.
We're worried about that when we come back, but boy, this guy is really a polished receiver, and he is a guy that can really get some speed. Look at that.
Almost over as we head into fall, and Steelers season begins on the 12th, 13-0. They have the lead right now. Edmonds talk about Antonio Brown.
Well, they set up the return to the right on this one. It's set up beautifully. He gets the ball, and he's looking for his blockers, and there they are. Look at the wall, and look at the speed. If he gets one more block a little quicker there, he's off to the races. As it is, a fine return. And he's got about as much speed. You know, he's one of those guys, Bob, he runs about as fast as he has to.
And that's certainly turn it on. He and Sanders both very quick. Good selections by Kevin Colbert and the Steelers scouting department. Boy, you were right on, Edmund, when you said we may not see a pass the rest of the way. It's been ultra conservative given what has happened to Byron Leftwich. If you joined us late, he got injured, took a real tough hit to the left knee by one of his own players that looked like who was being blocked into him. He has not returned. He's in the locker room. Mike Tomlin said that Charlie Batch will play the rest of the way, and you could read into that by saying he needs time now if he's going to be called upon to perform.
One little bright spot in the comments of Mike Tomlin was that it's some knee sprain of some sort. So if indeed it's a sprain, then it may only be a couple of weeks, and they'll get Byron Leftwich back.
Some of those can go 4 to 6 weeks, though. Depends on the severity of them, and we've seen guys with different sorts of sprains. So in any event, I think it's pretty safe to say they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. There was some talk that maybe Batch wouldn't be kept if they felt they had someone else in another position they wanted to protect, but now you can't have enough at that position while Roethlisberger waits.
Well, I think some of the things, and the reason why I didn't agree with Charlie Batch being released is I think he brings a lot more than just his talent to the team. He's actually a coach on the sidelines. He talks to the young quarterback, Dennis Dixon, making sure that his head's in the game. The first guy in the huddle off to the sidelines is Charlie Batch. So his head is always in the game, which is why he performs the way he does.
Batch looking long here, and the receiver cut in. There's a penalty flag down, and it looks like we have some sort of pass interference. He was going for the bundle right there, and Antonio Brown seems to think it's on Carolina.
Sure seems pretty confident about it. Antonio Brown.
Number 35. Defense.
Indeed it is.
Ball will be placed at the spot of the
R.J.
foul.
Stanford, who made that big hit earlier in the game, gets burned here.
Yeah, just kind of runs right into him to prevent him. Now, he may not have run the right route, but the ball was in the air. And the official made the decision that that was indeed pass interference, and I think the correct one.
Can't touch him beyond 5 yards, and that clearly cut off his path, even though it looked like it was going to be a different path than it was supposed to be. We've seen it coming. You expect that from rookie receivers, Edmund. We saw it last week with Emmanuel Sanders. And we saw it right there with Brown. But bottom line is he knew he's a confident player. There's no question about that, Antonio Brown. If you talk to him, you feel it about him. He knows that he belongs. Here's a handoff straight up the middle. Plowing down there is Dwyer. Good run. Heavy yards right there.
Now you have to watch this run. This is why I like him so much, Bob. You watch the body lean, the cuts, the quick feet, getting into the hole, running downhill, using his leverage at an advantage. Watch this now. Watch the quick feet. The bounce to the right, then to the left, finds the hole, and then right from there, it's downhill all the way, falling forward. It's an excellent gain of about 8 yards.
I'll tell you what, Frank the Tank Summers is doing a very good job when you say lead blocking. Has all preseason now. And, you know, I know they're not using fullbacks the way they used to. There's a quick out to Brown looking for something, and it's not going to open up. This time it's Stanford who runs him out after taking a stiff arm by Brown.
That looked like that was just a read by the quarterback. He saw the cornerback playing off, decided to give Brown the ball early to see if he could make a play. It wound up backfiring on him.
There's Bruce Arians. Last year, man, talk about offensive numbers. 4,000 yards for a passer, 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard running back. Lots of big numbers, but the numbers that matter most, it seems when you look back, were 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. They couldn't convert on those.
You have to be tough on short yardage and in the red zone. You have to be able to run the football in those situations.
All right, here's a handoff now once again. It's Dwyer to 10-5, plowing into the end zone. The penalty flag flies, however. Brandon London may be called for something here. I don't know, number 15, but Dwyer shows you why they love him out of Georgia Tech. We have a holding call on Brandon London.
Penalty from the spot of the foul. Still 3rd down.
He's out of UMass, doesn't play a lot. In fact, I haven't seen him much this entire preseason outside of training camp.
Beautiful counter play here. Look at the counter action going one way, and then the tight end and off tackle pulling the other way, and now the speed to the outside, and he just lowers the shoulder, runs right through number 56 like he isn't even there. Quentin Culberson runs right through him. Look at him lower shoulder. Look at the leverage he runs with. Just lowers the shoulder, the forearm, and runs right through the tackle like he isn't even there.
I don't know. I saw that play there by London. It looked like he was making a nice down-the-field block. I mean, he's a big guy at 6'4", 215, but they called him for holding based on that camera angle. He's been with a lot of different. He actually won a Super Bowl ring with the Giants being on their practice squad when they won it. So Brandon London hasn't played in the NFL yet, but he's got a Super Bowl ring. How about that?
How about that?
Here's Charlie Batch now looking in the end zone, or looking down the field anyway. He first thought about the end zone. Underneath, they call another flag there. And that's going to be pass interference on Quentin Culberson. Dwyer looked to be interfered with then. We'll see.
A lot of stuff going on here. Charlie Batch just takes it out of the shotgun. Finds.
Holding. Number 56. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Finds Dwyer running the little drag route, and he's just got a hold of him right there. Nope, you're not going anywhere. He's got all kinds of stuff going on right there. Having a tough time, but that's okay. Getting a lot of work. The Steelers are really possessing the football and marching down on the field on this Carolina defense.
All right, 1st and 10 now from the 12-yard line. Steelers trying to get more points, already leading 13-0. Tyler Grisham, number 19, another kid who wants to be on a roster. Practice squad last year. Handoff. Then they're going to go right to the horse. Dwyer up the middle, pounding his way inside the 5. Another penalty flag flies. That's, if I'm not mistaken, 4 straight plays where we've seen a yellow flag.
Holding, number 65. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Craig Urbick, another hold. Let's see if we can see the hold here. Now watch this, same counter play, same kind of action, and then he cuts it upfield. And you really can't see a hold in that angle, but you do see a lot of Jonathan Dwyer dropping those shoulder pads, getting low and running over folks.
Looked like Urbick may have grabbed the shirt of Greg Hardy, but Urbick's played a little bit better. He and Tony Hills, I think, have both incrementally gotten better. You know, they both were decent draft picks. Urbick, a 3rd rounder out of Wisconsin, and Hills, a 4th rounder out of Texas. But they've been slow to develop now. Dustin Vincent trying to get to the outside, does for meager yardage right there.
Well, the Steelers really testing that left side of that Carolina defense, going right at them. 3-4 straight plays, running the plays right over there, right over the top of Tony Hills and big Ramon Foster.
So offensive line-wise, another injury. Jonathan Scott, he went down, did not return, and you know they need depth this year. There's no question. Hills, Urbick, Legursky, Ramon Foster, all will be called upon at some point, just given the nature of the National Football League. It is a war of attrition. This drive is taking up some time now, nearing 5 minutes in duration for Charlie Batch. He looks to the outside, trying to get some blockers for Antonio Brown. Johnson leading away. Brown tried to get to the outside, was knocked out of bounds, and big David Johnson, 85, was leading away.
The timing on that play, not quite what you would see with the starters, but nevertheless very effective. Charlie Batch getting the ball out there in good fashion to Brown, and Brown doing the rest. Good blocking downfield by big number 85, David Johnson. That's a very well executed play. Look at the blocking on the outside. Why? Look at David. He's got occupying a couple of guys right there. David Johnson, the 2nd-year guy, made the team last year because of his blocking skills.
3rd and 12, a penalty-filled drive. Both teams. Batch play action now. Throws underneath and has Frank Summers, who knocked out of bounds, bobbles the ball, but it'll be knocked at about the 13-yard line. So looking at the running backs, Edmund, all right, put you to the test. You have Mendenhall, Moore, and I think Isaac Redmond are all pretty much guaranteed. That's 3. They normally keep 4, sometimes 5. But if it's 4, it would be Dwyer and Summers, you would think, battling for one position, unless they keep an extra one.
The fact that Isaac Redmond has been playing the blocking fullback position at times and also running the football, and given his skills with running the football, I think that Frank Summers is probably the odd man out in that group. They may try to sneak him onto the practice squad.
Jeff Reed, his 3rd field goal of the night. One from 33, one from 43, and now one from 31. Reed's ready to go for the regular season. It starts on September the 12th right here against Atlanta. The question is, will Byron Leftwich be ready to go? He was injured. Again, stick around. We'll have more information as we go along here live from Heinz Field. Steelers, when you play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new Pittsburgh Steelers Instant Game, win one of 5 top prizes of $100,000. More than $19 million in cash prizes overall, or second chance prizes like game tickets, VIP, road trips, and more. It's the Pennsylvania Lottery Steelers Instant Game. Daniel Sepulveda now will be kicking off. Reed did a lot of that and did pretty well tonight. Hit the ball good. And let's see what Sepulveda can do here. They've been using him a lot. Back deep, it looks like David Geddes again. Number 12, first to the outside, has some room. Sepulveda, though, looking like a linebacker, there to make that play, as he always does. And almost trash talk. He's not used to trash talking. He said something there.
Sepulveda making a big hit. Seems like the Steelers' return problems are still haunting them to some degree.
We'll be back right after this short timeout. With you, 16-zip. Steelers have the lead. Once again, Nikita has gone rogue from division and ultra secret government agency trained to be invisible assassins. No one ever leaves division except the charming and deadly Nikita, played by Maggie Q. Don't miss it, September the 9th at 9 after the Vampire Diaries on Pittsburgh's CW. Tony Pike remains in the game under center for Carolina. Boy, they've had a miserable preseason when it comes to offense. No points tonight. They have yet to score an offensive touchdown in the preseason for 4 games. And even though they want to downplay that, Edmund, by saying, well, it's preseason, bottom line is not a lot of mojo going into the regular season with that.
They don't have very much leadership at the quarterback position, given the fact that Jake Delhomme has headed for the high hills. D'Angelo Williams, now they do have a great running attack. D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, those guys hardly played this preseason, so you didn't see
Steve Smith,
a whole lot of them. Yeah, well, Steve Smith is the guy after the broken arm, wasn't going to get much playing time this preseason anyway, but that's because, that's why they have such an anemic passing attack, because he's not in there.
This nice tackle by Madison on Armani Edwards, number 10. And also, you know, Jimmy Clausen was their second-round pick, number 2. I don't know Notre Dame, but he's been having toe problems. You might remember last year against, I think it was Michigan State, he got hit awkwardly, and he had surgery. It's just a painful injury. So Jimmy Clausen has played in this preseason, but he has not played that much to be considered a starter. It's Matt Moore's job, and this is an inexperienced quarterback. So if you're a Carolina fan, there's a lot of question about what they may do. They will run the ball a lot, as you said, because I think that's the best way to survive. Pike in the flat as Gary Barnage. And it's very close. Looks like he has a first down, depending on where they spot it. Very close.
Ryan Mundy with the tackle.
Ryan Mundy coming up and making a nice strike.
First and 10, Carolina ball.
People here enjoy all the festivities. Remember, it's the Coors Light Kickoff and Rib Fest, and tomorrow the Clarks are going to play. Before that, Bishop Clay will open up for them at 7:45. A lot of good local bands. You've got Brett Michaels here, good food. Come on down. Play action now. Looking downfield, has time. Delivers into traffic, and his receiver gets hit cold. Combination there of Thornton and also Ryan Mundy, and that ball was delivered right there. But man, is he hurt, and that's Jamie Petrosky, number 86. He took a huge shot to the head right there.
He really doesn't know where he is right now, or what year it is for that matter. He took a shot.
Jim Bradley out there immediately. The Steeler doctors listen to it.
Oh my goodness, took a shoulder right to the face from Ryan Mundy. Ryan Mundy was chasing the outside receiver and then came back on that play, and you could see he just was laid out right after that lick, and then tried to get up, stumbled, went back to the ground. Let's hope he's okay, because that was one vicious hit he took.
I'll tell you, this has been a bone of contention here with, you know, players union and the protection issues that you might have. And boy, I tell you, so many head injuries. And saw the study down in West Virginia being done about not just concussions, Edmund, but repeated blows to the head. And Chris Henry, of course, tragic story there. He died only 26, but they said he had a brain operating like right. You know, a 70-year-old. Yeah. And it just Mike
it's
Webster
an occupational hazard.
Yeah,
you know what? I don't know how much more they can protect.
I don't know
the
either. What do you do?
Because those types of collisions are going to happen in football if they continue to play it the way it's played. And in order to keep those collisions from happening, you have to change the game completely to something that we don't really know what it's about. Now, they've done great things as far as protecting quarterbacks and the head-to-head collisions, but there's going to be a collision nearly every play, and you have the devastating collisions like you just saw right there that cause those types of injuries that the league is really trying to keep from happening.
Well, good news there. He looks better than he did a couple of moments ago, and that's all you can ask there for Jamie Petrosky out of Indiana State. All right, want to tell you once again about the Chief movie. It's out there now, and you can get a copy. DVDs are available in November. Coming to theaters this fall. Go to chiefmovie.com, pre-order yours today. And Tom Atkins does a wonderful job portraying Art Rooney, the Chief. Gene Collier, Rob Sellers.
Who better than Tom Atkins?
Yeah, he's really good at it. If you've never seen it, you should see. You owe it to yourself as a Steeler fan to see it. All right, again, the big news of the night is the injury to Byron Leftwich. Another one to Jonathan Scott. I know we're shortly going to go down to the field here for Jeff Rosella, who spoke with Dennis Dixon about the situation. Mike Tomlin has some issues to deal with now. Ones that maybe he didn't even think going in. We knew that this is still going to be topsy-turvy, and now all of a sudden it's taking another turn.
And all of the speculation with an injury that's going to keep Dennis Dixon out, there is no more speculation about the quarterback situation.
Third down now for Carolina. Steeler defense. A lot of young guys looking to keep making plays here. Up the middle, there's some pressure. Pike is not fleet of foot. He has happy feet now, trying to get to the outside, and he does, showing more speed than I've seen him at Cincinnati. And he gets very close to first down yardage. Everything closed off downfield. He tucked it away. He's 6'6" and not known for his speed.
A very good-looking quarterback prospect. Don't know if he's really going to get a shot out of Cincinnati, but really shows his elusiveness right here. Has a pretty good linebacker that's got him in his sights. Patrick Bailey dekes him out of the way and gets to the sideline with a good gainer, just enough for the first down. That's a very nice job by Tony Pike.
All right, minute 30 left in this third quarter. 16-0. Steelers have added 3 to what was a 13-0 halftime lead. Up the middle, nothing there. All right, let's go back down. Nationwide on your side sideline report with Jeff Rosella standing by with number 10, Dennis Dixon.
All right, thanks very much, Bob. One of the big points of the week has been who's going to start a quarterback in 10 days, and things got more interesting tonight, obviously, with Byron going down with the knee injury. Based on the severity of that injury and his ability to come back, you may be taking that snap in 10 days. Are you prepared?
Yeah, I had to say I am. I had to be prepared. I mean, I got to take a mental focus as far as practice and everything, and take everything serious on practice. So when the game comes, it comes easy.
Up until this point, there's been no public declaration of a starter with this team. And through the preseason, coach has been dividing snaps 3 ways with the first team. Has that not allowed the offense to get totally in sync, or are you guys okay?
I think it's okay. I mean, I think the task in hand is to, make plays out there. I think each quarterback can do that in different ways, and that's the thing about it.
If you're starting in 10 days, you're obviously a younger guy. This team has a lot of veterans. How important will veteran leadership be?
Oh, it'd be good for a young guy like me as far as confidence. I got a lot of vets on my offensive side as far as Hines Ward, and get to know them, communication-wise and everything too, be on the same page.
How important is communication between a quarterback and the rest of his offense? Is it different from one quarterback to another?
Well, it's very valuable. You got to get those reps and stuff like that. You got to see the same thing. When the defense gives you something, you got to be able to execute it. Take what the defense give you, regardless of what that is.
Do you think you've had enough reps through the preseason?
I had to say I had a decent amount. Preseason is a chance to get better, and I think I got better throughout the process.
All right, thanks very much, Dennis. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, back up to you.
All right, JV, thanks very much. We're ending third quarter here momentarily. Last play was a gain of 8. This is the deepest penetration by Carolina tonight. We have reached the end of the third quarter. Steelers have 3 field goals by Jeff Reed, a touchdown from Dixon to Emmanuel Sanders, and 2 big injuries, which loom as roster cuts are soon to be made. We'll have more. Remember, on the postgame report, keep it here. 16-0 Steelers lead after 3.
Chevrolet, official car and truck of the Pittsburgh Steelers. See why over 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevrolet at ChevyDealer.com. By McDonald's, new McCafe smoothies. I'm loving it. And by Nationwide, proud sponsor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nationwide is on your side.
We're back 16-0. Start of the fourth quarter. Final 15 minutes before this preseason is officially over, and questions remain. Armani Edwards back in the game. Fires to the outside there, and it was David Geddes who had it and dropped it. Pressure there by Anthony Madison. Lots of big decisions coming up. Depth, big issues. Any team that's going to win in this league has to be healthy, and they have to stay away from major injuries.
Certainly put a different perspective on the Steelers' outlook as the damaging injuries that have been sustained thus far. Hopefully they can stay and remain injury-free for the rest of this particular game, Bob, but a lot of question marks going into game 1.
Here's John Casey, who missed one from 51 earlier. Will try again from the exact same mark, and this time it's up and good. The first one hit the crossbar there and fell short, but this one is good. And remember, he's a 20-year vet, and that leg looked pretty good on that particular kick.
Yeah, he drove that one a little bit lower trajectory, but 20-year leg, he's okay.
First time Carolina on the board at 16-3 when we return. Casey, a 51-yarder, 16-3. Panthers finally broke the ice. Hey, if you think cheerleading isn't a sport, we want to remind you again, the CW wants to prove you wrong. Ashley Tisdale, Ile Makaka as the highly competitive college cheerleaders in Hellcats. It's on September the 8th at 9 after America's Next Top Model on Pittsburgh CW. Hellcats. Check it out. Here is Todd Carter with a big leg. He kicked off to start this game and drove it deep in the end zone. He has a chance to make a team. It's because of his length of kicks. This time it's taken by Logan at about the 1 yard deep. Logan up the middle. One final push for his roster spot, and he gets to about the 25-yard line, a 26-yard return.
Not bad there by Logan. Maybe not quite enough, though. You know, one of the things that going against him is he's not nearly as polished a receiver as Antonio Brown and Emmanuel Sanders. And that hurts him, Bob. He's not a bad receiver, but he's a great return man. But the Steelers have to weigh whether they can do without his return services and having a guy like Brown come in and do pretty much a lot of the same things that he can do, and have a guy that can also be a polished receiver as opposed to having a designated return man that can play sparingly on some other special teams.
Jonathan Dwyer become a workhorse here in the second half, gets short yardage. Not much there, actually gain about 1 with forward progress. Hey, want to remind you about the Pitt Panthers opening up their season tonight, and currently, as we look at the PNC college football scoreboard, Pitt had a 7-0 lead in this game, but Utah has come back. A tough place to play. They've won 17 straight at home. Big season for Dave Wannstedt. We're looking forward to it in the Big East Conference, but right now Utah has a 14-7 lead. Dwyer on the night, by the way, 11 carries, 22 yards after his 89-yard performance last week in Denver.
R.J. Stanford, a Utah prospect.
A lot of Utah guys here. Stevenson Sylvester, a Utah guy. Oh, right up the middle and going nowhere was Jonathan Dwyer. He was hit immediately by Tank Tyler, an appropriate name for Tank Tyler. He's out of Oregon, 3rd-round pick back in 07.
My goodness, the Tank coming through, unblocked almost, and Dwyer has no chance against a big old boy. That's a big old boy right there. That's a big boy. Trying to do a little fold block there. Doug Legursky coming in, Craig Urbick trying to get in front, could not get in front, and Tank taking him down.
Steelers 2 for 9 on 3rd down conversions in this game. 3rd and 14 now for Charlie Batch, who came in and has played the rest of the way after the injury to Byron Leftwich. Again, we will hopefully get more information as this one is over. Stick it right here to KDK. We'll be down there for Mike Tomlin's post-game comments as Dwyer gets some of that yardage back. Hines Ward ready to go after his 95 catches 1 year ago. Lamar Woodley, boy, how good this guy has developed, huh?
He is quite the player, having some contract issues now. Thinks he should have re-upped by now, but quietly going about his business. Got his work in training camp, had a good camp, and ready to go about doing his thing during the season. You expect big things out of him. Last year, quite the sack guy, and again, probably have an even better year this year.
Sepulveda back to kick. He's been really good tonight. Put one at the 3-yard line, real high hangers. Brian Witherspoon will take this one on the run at the 30-35, and nothing doing after that. 3 Steelers converge on that tackle, and that's where Carolina will get it back.
Brought down by Stewart and Thornton.
Long snapper. We just saw Stewart make a tackle, but you know they brought him in with Greg Warren having some knee issues, and that's another interesting thing to watch here. We'll talk about it when we come back. 16-3 is your score, 12:28 left in this game, and a lot of tense moments for Steeler fans as they await the news on Byron Leftwich. Meantime, the 33rd annual Richard S. Caligiuri City of Pittsburgh Great Race, Sunday, September the 26th. Sign up today for the 10K race or the 5K race and walk. Log on to rungreatrace.com for more information. Should be a wonderful day for that annual event. Tony Pike, play action, has time, steps up, hits his man for a short gain there. And that is Savage, but once again, the linebacker play of the Steelers, the 2nd and 3rd teamers have been very good, and Sylvester, I think, has earned a spot on this team.
Stevens and Sylvester very active indeed. There's a Joe Burnett sighting out at right cornerback in there. Doug Worthington, the Ohio State grad, is also in there, big number 95. Burnett.
Why so late for Burnett, do you think?
Exactly, that's a very good question, Bob. You know, you just don't know who's going to be a victim of the numbers, but he's in there quite late in this game, not having seen much action heretofore in the preseason.
Handoff once again to Savage. He's tried to spin away, just cannot do it. Good gang tackling there by the Steelers. Well, you think for sure. I mean, Will Gay made an interception and improved his status last week after really what was not a good season for him last year. I think looking back, you know, he took over for Bryant McFadden, who left for the money. Who could blame him? But Gay thought he was maybe better than he was, and went to his head a little bit. But now he's come back and tried to rework it.
Well, let's hope that's not what happened. Maybe it was just an off year, but it certainly seemed like it, didn't it? And he's now trying to make his way all the way back. Of course, he's going to step in for B-Mac while he's out. But when B-Mac's healthy, and he told me today on the field that he will be back next week, he should be ready for the opener.
I think they like Presdon Butler. They drafted him this year, Pike trying to get out of the way. Butler closes, but he does get out of the way. You know, they drafted him in the 5th round out of Clemson, so they obviously like. He had an interception last week, and he's done things that Burnett has not.
And has had a very good camp, been very consistent, acts like he's been around, very polished, knows the plays, knows Dick LeBeau's defense. And there's B-Mac on the sidelines. They're sitting next to Ziggy Hood. He'll be back next year. You know what he brings? He's a big hitter for a cornerback. He'll strip the ball, knock the ball loose, and he's quick enough to make the plays and get his hands on some footballs and get some interceptions.
Here's Stephon Logan backpedaling at his own 5, and then what a tackle there. And, oh, once again, that's Brian Witherspoon who comes down and makes that play. Special teams, while Logan went backwards. Good special teams play by Witherspoon and the Carolina Panthers. There's the dynamic duo of Ryan Clark and Troy Polamalu, back healthy, and we hope both have big years because they're going to need it there as the Steelers have the lead, but they are pinned inside their own 5-yard line after a nice special teams play by Brian Witherspoon on Stephon Logan.
Ryan Clark taking the week off up in Denver, of course, because of the indications he had from a high altitude and his condition, his blood condition. Minimal work tonight.
Charlie Batch has been in the game from the end of the first half all the way through this one. And again, if you joined us late, you missed an injury to Byron Leftwich, which is a knee sprain. We know that. We don't know the severity of it, but knee sprains can, you know, vary. Some can be a week or two. Some can be 4 to 6 weeks. We'll hopefully get more information at the end. There's that $1 million Lloyd's of London hair insurance, and Hines Ward could use some of that hair, to be honest with you, and that's what he's saying. Give me some.
Trying to hang some on the back of his head because there's not much hair on Hines Ward's head, as you well know. He's trying to borrow a little bit of Troy's, and Troy has enough to give to him.
Yeah, look at that left side. It's like a chia pet, man. It grew out of control over there. Pretty good marketing by Procter & Gamble. 2nd and 7 now for Charlie Batch. Once again, playing very close to the best. Jonathan Dwyer goes nowhere as the Carolina defensive front, which probably is the strength of their team, steps up big. There's Morty Ivy out of Gateway High School in West Virginia.
Gateway.
Remember the Gators, and Terry Smith and company always do a great job up there. Looking forward to high school football season every Friday night on KDKA. A lot of big games.
3rd down and 7 from the 10-yard line.
Looking forward to a couple of, I'll tell you what, Russell Shell out of Hopewell is only, you know, a junior. Still has another year. Superb player. Caputo out of West Allegheny has another year.
These are hometown boys,
he committed to Wisconsin, but I'm telling you what, they got some talent. West A and Hopewell and AAA, very good. Here's Batch under pressure, backpedaling off the back foot throws. He was just about to get lambasted, which he did. But that all falls right. It was Ware up the middle, Sean Ware out of New Hampshire, putting the pressure.
And Charlie Batch falling away from the contact, sensing it was coming. Here it comes, and watch him throw it and spin out of the way and not take a big hit. Think Charlie's learned his lesson? I think so.
I think everyone there on the coaching staff said, go down quick. Armonte Edwards is the one back, number 10.
He and Coach Tomlin having a little word about that, having a little chuckle.
There's a kick out of the end zone by Sepulveda. It's a high kick taken by Edwards at the 41. He's got the speed to the outside, looking for a block. And boy, he does have electrifying speed. And finally, it's Isaac Redmond who comes over and hits him out of bounds. See why they like this guy, though. He's got a lot of speed. All right, let's find out what's going on with the locks down there with Hines Ward. Jeff Rochella standing by with him.
Hines, earlier in the week in the paper, you said you always want to be on the same page with the guy who's calling the signals as your starter because all quarterbacks communicate differently, and all 3 of these quarterbacks communicate differently. What did you mean by that?
Well, just about getting on the same page. You know, Dennis is a low-spoken guy, so when he gets in the huddle, you want to make sure you hear him. But you know, all of them, their cadence are different. They throw different types of balls, so it can make it difficult at times trying to catch. You know, he slings the ball all around, and Dennis got a nice tight spiral. Ben has a great touch, and Charlie has a nice touch. So, you know, catching balls from all different types of quarterback makes it difficult for a wideout sometimes.
After tonight, the decision may have been made for Coach Tomlin based on the severity of Byron's knee injury. Can Dennis Dixon handle the job?
He can. You know, we got to treat Dennis the same way we treat Ben when he was a rookie. You know, just give him a set of plays and just ask him not to go out there to win ball games, but just to run and control the offense. Don't turn the ball over. Don't try to make things. And, of course, he's going to make plays with his legs. So if we can keep that formula of him trying not to lose games and just managing the offense and letting our defense or special teams win, that's set up for Ben to have great success early in his career. So hopefully we can use that same formula with Dennis.
Is there a bigger burden on the veteran leadership on this team if Dennis is the guy that's taking the snaps under center to kind of prop him up and carry more of the load, especially the first 4 or 5 games?
Yeah, well, we all got to come together. You know, the quarterback is, of course, the main spot, but it all starts up front. You know, with the offensive line, to do anything, to run the ball or pass the ball, those guys got to come together and gel. So it gives us, everybody else, opportunity to make plays on the field. So it starts up front with those guys and all the role players like myself and Mike and Mendenhall. We just got to go out and make plays when plays present itself.
Off the field this week, one of the fun issues was Troy and his $1 million insurance policy for his hair. You got anything in the works? Somebody's going to insure your bald head?
No, I wish I had long flowing hair like Troy to be worth $1 million, but I told Troy to watch him and when he goes to sleep. I might have to nip a little bit out and put it on eBay.
A couple of locks might be worth a few $100.
Yeah, no question.
All right, thanks very much, Hines. Appreciate it. Bob, back up to you.
Watch out for Hines Ward. He was trying to get some of that hair a little earlier. So Troy Polamalu has it tucked away. And great thing about him, he went through this entire preseason, no lingering effects from the knee injury twice that he had injured last year. And
there it is.
There it is. He chose not to have any kind of procedure, just try to rehab it. And boy, he's so important to the Steeler defense.
He has to stay healthy for them to be as effective as they can be.
The hair-raising experience tonight is the injury to Leftwich. Again, after the game, stick with us. We'll have Mike Thomas post-game comments. What a hit by Cresdon Butler on David Geddes. Butler delivered, and boy, that had to hurt.
No celebration, probably because he's a little dizzy himself, but listen to this. Watch this hit. This is unbelievable. This catch is going the wrong way. Oh, my goodness. That's football.
And nothing illegal about it. He just made a hard hit on a guy who's about 6 inches taller than he is and laid him out.
It's a good play. Oh, man. I'm glad I'm up here with you, Bob.
Well, I'm glad I'm up here with you, too, but would you please save me some of the ribs?
Sorry.
Oh, and there's a near pick by Butler, although he doesn't complete the play. And Armani Edwards gets the reception and the first down, although they're saying Steeler players are saying incomplete. But Butler looked to make the big hit. He did not wrap up the receiver.
Yeah, I think he thought he had he got his hands on the ball. He thought maybe he had knocked it out of the receiver's hands, and so he stopped. And you can't do that. Watch this now. The ball gets there. Look at him. He thought he had enough. All he did was switch hands on him and then and continued with the play. Butler thought he knocked the ball down to the ground and was saying incomplete.
Coaches don't like when you start doing that stuff.
No, but I mean, it's that was inadvertent. He won't let that happen again. And there he is again.
Well, he's involved in every play, number 40. Butler has really emerged, moved up the depth chart here. Started with last week with the interception, and today some pretty nice plays by number 40.
He can certainly play football. There's no question about that, which is why he is where he is on the depth chart. But wasn't it interesting what Hines Ward said about the quarterback situation, about the difference in the types of ball that's thrown and difference in the cadences and the difference in the personalities that comes out in the huddle. I thought that was very interesting. And no matter what he says, it does make a difference, Bob. It does make a difference who gets the snaps. It does make a difference who they're playing with. It does make a difference who's been in the game and who's been getting the snaps. And now, in my opinion, they're in quite the quandary.
Offense, 10-yard penalty.
Another penalty, and we've had a lot of those in the second half. We saw Ryan Clark over there. I want to remind you about our yearly PNC Steeler Huddle show, and we'll be doing that again every other Wednesday at the Great Hall. We have co-hosts. I'll be there along with Ryan Clark and also Antoine Randall, who brings that vivacious personality. And the first taping, if you want to come down, is September the 15th. So come on down, Coca-Cola Great Hall, and join us for the Steeler Huddle, brought to you by PNC. 2nd and 20 now with the penalties, and Tony Pike under center. Cincinnati, they won the Big East Championship 2 years in a row, and he was one of the quarterbacks. And there's another penalty flag. Why not? Josh Vaughn makes the reception, turns it inside for a couple of extra yards, but another flag.
Jason Worlds coming hard off the right side.
Number 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Duke Robinson out of Oklahoma.
What a great football name there, Duke Robinson.
You know, he was.
Watch it over here coming up. He's coming hard. Jason Worlds coming hard around the corner. Duke, unfortunately, had him all wrapped up. Had his hands on the outside. Not very good technique.
Duke Robinson was a 5th-round pick last year, but he, if I remember, he was like projected in the 2nd round, but he had a poor performance in the BCS title game when Oklahoma played in it. And as a result, he dropped all the way to the 5th round. And so they're trying to get him a spot here, number 72. 3rd and 30 with all the penalties. Pike under pressure, lifts it up, and it goes to Savage, and he gets hit immediately by Ryan Monday and Doug Worthington. That goes for nothing. Good execution by the Steelers' second-teamers.
Monday comes up, stops him cold in his tracks, and Worthington gets a little dessert and cleans up. Great pursuit from the Steelers after the screen play has been thrown. Boom! Look at big Doug Worthington coming up there, getting him a little shot on the top. Doug's such a nice guy. He's a big, nice, gentle giant and needs to learn to be a little more aggressive. Has improved in his last couple of weeks at camp, but was a beast at Ohio State. In a little bit different system here with the Steelers.
3rd and 32 now. Pike just looking for something quick, and what a hit again by Ryan Monday on Savage, who's had enough. He's probably saying, "Get me on the field, coach. That's enough."
That's right. That's enough. That's enough downs. Number 29 has hit me once too often. Get me out of here.
13 total penalties in this game has slowed it down quite a bit, considering where we are in this preseason. Stephon Logan back to receive another punt here.
I mean, this is just set up. Ryan's just coming in having a field day. Just like, oh, you're going to throw it over here again? You got to be kidding me. I'll take it.
4th and 34. Penalties and good plays by the Steelers defense. And here they come trying to block it. Logan is back all alone. It's a high kick by Baker. Logan decides to leave a bounce, and it's a good decision. Does it get in or not? Touchback, barely. It took a bounce the other way, but it did cross the goal line, so it's a touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Charlie Batch returns to the field when we come back. Preseason 2010, the Steelers will move to 3-1, but that's irrelevant compared to what's happened here tonight. Injury to Byron Leftwich. Again, we urge you to stick with us after the game. We will have Mike Tomlin's press conference live right here on our postgame show. Also, Jonathan Scott injured. Roster cuts need to be made down to 53, and a lot of this will be predicated on what we learn about Leftwich, who left with a knee sprain, severity of which unknown. Sean McHugh, 49 in the game now, and he's moving, set, hand off straight ahead. Fire with that burst that you like, Edmund, up the middle, hard yards, and he gets about 7 of them.
Boy, you have to love that guy running low and hard, getting the tough yards, trying to get this game over with. He's still trying to make an impression on the Steeler coaches after not having the greatest of starts. Look at the explosion, look at the body lean. Look at him. Hit number 29. I mean, he took him for a cheetah flip.
Jordan Pugh.
Knocked him for a ways. That's Pugh, yeah, the rookie 6th-round draft choice out of Texas A&M.
All right, Charlie Batch, you would think figures prominently in the plans as they move forward. The opener here at Heinz Field on September the 12th. The Atlanta Falcons in town, and boy, they have some Roddy White and Ryan, a quarterback, along with Michael Turner. And there, speaking of running, Jonathan Dwyer, does he have the speed to complete it? Makes a nice cut. Dwyer now spinning away from Brian Witherspoon. A huge game. We saw it last week in Denver. More of the same. You can put up 37 on the board.
That's not a mistake, Bob. That explosiveness that you see there, that running hard, running over people, that is not a mistake right there. That's Jonathan Dwyer at his best, finding a little bit of a hole, good read, running up into the holes with his eyes open, finding the cuts that he needs to. Not the fastest guy, but you don't expect a guy like that to run away from everybody, but he gets much needed yards, and look at the way he runs. Look at the center of gravity, very low to the ground, hard guy to tackle. You know, that's not a mistake. That's not just accident, especially doing it 2 weeks in a row like he has.
And he is built low to the ground, 5'11", 230. It's like a bowling ball. And look at that move. Look at that move with the feet, trying to get to the outside, picks up a nice block. Dwyer to the 20, to the 16-yard line. This is a kid out of Georgia Tech who rushed for 3,200 plus yards and 35 touchdowns. That's 21 more yards.
And then with the wherewithal to know, hey, I'm going to get down, I'm going to stay, instead of running out of bounds. But watch this move here. Goes into the line of scrimmage, sees number 20, has him dead to rights, and the little hop, very light on his feet, and then going out to the outside. And right now he's like, he.
Jonathan Pugh once again got victimized there. Good cut for a guy that big. And like I said, 230, has nimble feet. And he averaged 6.2 yards a carry at Georgia Tech in that different kind of an offense. He very seldom was in a pro formation. This is Justin Vincent as Dwyer gets a blow, and he gets to about the 14-yard line.
Dwyer, very impressive. Justin Vincent, another guy out of LSU that's been around here for a while. And the reason why, he's a pretty good running back, just can't quite make the breakthrough to get to the active roster. But Dwyer, certainly a great talent, especially to have been picked up in the draft when he was. Did not endear himself to the coaching staff, coming in a bit overweight, had a hamstring injury, but he is now showing exactly what he can do, and he's been very impressive.
This is why they spoke so highly of him when they took him in the 6th round this year out of Georgia Tech. John Fox scratching his head, long night at the office. We'll be back with the final 2 minutes of the preseason right after this.
By Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health. By Verizon Wireless. Your signal reigns on America's largest and most reliable wireless network, Verizon. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Get your game face on. Play the Pennsylvania Lottery's new Pittsburgh Steeler Instant.
Prior to Jonathan Dwyer, the Steelers had 109 rushing yards. He himself has had 57 in his last 2 carries. 86 on the day, and opening eyes everywhere. For Jonathan Dwyer, you would think he's going to get it again, and he does. This time on a pitch, nothing there to the outside. Carolina defensive line did a pretty good job with support of some linebackers.
Dwyer finding room on the right side, just kind of getting his body lean going, running the clock, making sure that this clock gets run out. Done a very good accounting of himself here in the last couple of games with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had a slow start, probably learned a valuable lesson, Bob, coming into camp. He'll be ready next year, you would think, but as a guy that, in my opinion, has to stay around. That running back position, it's no cakewalk. There's going to be some tough choices to make back there.
3rd and 9 now for the Steelers. Again, keeping it on the ground, and once again, it's Dwyer. He doesn't get much. Now it's time for the high mark of the game, presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. So, Edmund, what have you detected as your high mark?
I like the Dennis Dixon pass coming in, cold turkey, throwing the big pass to Emmanuel Sanders, and then Sanders moved to get into the end zone. I have to go with that play. It was the biggest play of the game, no doubt.
All right, I'll go with Jonathan Dwyer then. That's the only other option left for me. What he's done here in the last 2 weeks is erased, in my mind, what he did, as you described earlier, coming in overweight. I remember there was a backs-on-backers drill up there in Latrobe, which he got absolutely schooled by Thaddeus Gibson. And people were saying, wait a minute, this guy's supposed to be tough. He didn't display that earlier, but he has certainly responded, and you would think now has an opportunity to be on this roster. All right, Reed already has 3 of these field goals, 31, 33, and 43, and he'll get one more opportunity as Carolina called a timeout. Obviously, they want the ball back to see what they can do with 1:10 left in this game. And quite frankly, they've done nothing offensively for the entire preseason.
Yeah, so you don't think they're going to do much in the last 2 minutes with a 14 quarterback coming in there, do you? I highly doubt it. This guy's had a pretty good camp. Had the tag put on him and living up to every dollar of it.
Once again, straight down the middle. Reed 4 for 4 on the night to extend that lead to 19-13. And they certainly need Jeff Reed to be at his best this year, given the fact that they could have some inconsistency at quarterback play. We'll see. Pennsylvania Lottery, instant game. Hey, you can score with the Steelers. When they score, you can win one of 5 top prizes of $100 grand, more than $19 million in cash prizes overall. Or there are second chance prizes, folks, such as individual game tickets, VIP road trips, game jerseys autographed, and other prizes fans would love. That's the Pennsylvania Lottery Steelers instant game. All right, it opens up against the first 4 games. Just real quick talk about it, because you got Atlanta, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore Obviously, Atlanta's going to be a good team. They always are.
Very tough team.
At Tennessee is always. Why has it been so tough for the Steelers to win at Tennessee?
Yeah, it's very tough for them down there, and they have some talent. Probably the best running back. No, not probably the best running back in the league at Tennessee, and a fledgling quarterback that's trying to find his way, but still a very good team, very good defensively. The Baltimore Ravens very good, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers not so good.
What would you take out of those first 4? At worst, I'd take 2-2, hopefully for 3-1.
And the Steelers have a very good chance to be 3-1. You know, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be without Ed Reed. You're going to figure out that this guy is such a playmaker, probably on the likes of Troy Polamalu in that backfield, defensive backfield for the Baltimore Ravens.
David Geddes up the middle here, and he gets hammered there by Justin Vincent and also Cresdon Butler, who was first down the field on special teams, and that's what young guys got to do, put it out there on special teams. Troy Polamalu, 5-time Pro Bowler, looking to be on the field. You know, he plays that way. Bob Sanders plays that way. Ed Reed, they all play the same way, and it lends itself to injuries, unfortunately. But, you know, Indy's had the same problem with Sanders over the years.
Right.
And I think he's played 8 games the last 2 years.
Not the same defense with Sanders out either. So it's the same way. You got an impact player that once he goes down, and the Steelers' defensive problems were exacerbated by Aaron Smith also going down. So you got a guy on the defensive front and the key man in that defensive backfield, and the Steelers were pretty much toast once those 2 guys were down.
Tony Pike scrambling to his left, trying to get out of bounds, being pursued right there by Sonny Harris, and gets about 3 yards, I would guess.
Pike is smart enough to get out of bounds, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He runs and hides from those big guys trying to chase him down.
Sonny Harris, their 77, was a 6th-round pick of the Steelers, but then he ended up 3 weeks on the Carolina practice squad, and they got him back. They like him a lot, but you got to, you know, you have to show it in game situations, and
right.
He doesn't get enough opportunity, but he has a lot of talent.
And when he's had the opportunity, he hasn't really shown much. And really
2nd and 8.
to do that.
Yeah, he does. 2nd and 8 now for Tony Pike. Under a minute left. Here comes a blitz. It's picked up. Pike delivers, and he puts it right on the target there for David Geddes, who takes a hit, and it's first down yardage for number 12.
On stop, 27.
Like Stevens and Sylvester was coming in trying to dive and do something there, and got up and rolled the wrong way. If he rolls the other way, it looks like he may have had a shot at Tony Pike. Got up a bit slow. Burnett making the play on the outside.
BNC College football scoreboard, Utah still with a 7-point lead over Pitt, 3rd quarter of that game. Panthers come in 15th ranked, Utah 24th, but as I mentioned, they got that 17-game win streak at home, a tough place to play. Pike under pressure now, and he looked to be sandwiching. He clearly throws it away there after being pressured by a couple of young Steeler linebackers.
It's a good thing he threw that ball towards somebody, Bob, because that could have been intentional grounding. He was not outside of the tackle box, it seemed. It's the pressure going on. He's still in the tackle box, takes one step, comes back into the middle, still in the tackle box, and gets a little shot. Didn't look like he liked that very much either. I can't blame him. I wouldn't like it either.
36.
Look how tall he is.
Yeah, he had a pretty good staff of wide receivers in Cincinnati, which is why, and boy, I still remember that game here last year where they beat Pitt 46-45.
They would not
missed
go
extra
away.
point. It was just, what a classic football game, but a disappointing one for the Panthers. And they are picked, the Panthers are, to win the Big East this year by almost everyone. But tonight, you want those non-conference games to be good ones, especially on national TV like that one is, but they trail Utah 14-7.
That's one that they really need. But, you know, they have a way of coming back and showing that they're a pretty good football team late in the season, the Panthers do. They have a great running attack, one of the best running backs in the league. Coming back, boy, is he shifty. He's a great talent to watch.
Dion Lewis, a Heisman Trophy candidate. They got Jonathan Baldwin out of Aliquippa, who's spectacular, and Cam Sadler, a lot of good guys. An inexperienced quarterback at Tino Sinceri.
Once again, yeah.
An inexperienced offensive line, which is a concern.
Is that
Pike.
Sal's son?
That's Sal's son, yes. Delivers incomplete contact there. Carolina looking for some penalties. Charlie Martin, number 83, was there, but it's ruled incomplete.
I'm getting old, man. Me and Sal came into the league together. Sal
he was with Carolina here
yes,
at one
he was.
point.
Yes, he was. Defensive line coach,
Yep.
I believe.
Yeah, contact there, but it came right as the ball was delivered. So Keenan Lewis has every reason to be in there, as does Charlie Martin. So no called call, nothing called.
Ball's in the air. Could be Keenan's as well as the offensive players.
All right, 4th down, 23 seconds left. Pike in the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. It's picked up. Although to the outside, he goes down. And there you go with Scotty Paxson. We haven't heard from him from Penn State. And Paxson hasn't been in there a lot, but he gets a sack to end the preseason. Although there will be a punt here. No, there won't be a punt. 4th, change of possession. One more play and we're done.
T-Rex coming from the outside, doing his thing. Guy that's been hanging around here for a while.
Yes, he has. The Steelers now will end this one 3-1. Some good performances, but injuries to worry about. As I said, the latest on Byron Leftwich coming up with Mike Tomlin at the end of this game. In our postgame, you will hear from him. Already heard from Dennis Dixon. Charlie Batch will figure prominently in the plans as they move forward. John Fox, Mike Tomlin will get together, wish each other well in what should be a long and interesting NFL season for both teams. Final tonight, 19-3. The Steelers end their preseason with a record of 3-1. Carolina ends at 1-3. We'll wrap up tonight's broadcast and set you up for the postgame when we return live to Heinz Field right here on KDKA.